Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. Welcome to a brand new season over here at Simsport Racing. It is the Virtual Touring Car Cup. So many changes since last time the BTCC flew its flag, not least of which is the merger with the mighty SSR. We bring with us the GoBobby.co.uk sponsor, of course, and we are also part of Grid Finder, as you can see on the display. But we have got a great season ahead of us. We start the season here at Donington Park. What a way to start this season. What an amazing track to get it underway. And there is the calendar. 6 rounds, 3 races per round, 20 minutes a time. And running the BTCC format. We do have Pro and Am lobby split, so we're not muddling up the seasons as we have done in previous times. So there is a Am lobby season, or a Pro Am lobby, I should say, that is being hosted by Adam Bent. Glad to have him on board. But joining me in the commentary box for this season is a name I've commentated on before, a very, very quick hand behind the wheel. I'm very glad to have him with me. It is Aaron Martin Pilkington. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Chris Buxton. It's very good to be here. Very, very good. This is. I've waited for this moment. GT3 is nothing compared to touring cars, so I can't wait to get underway with this racing.
Oh, yeah, amen to that. Amen to that. That is our spotter's guide for this particular event. So the great mixture. For those that have followed the VTCC in the past, there'll be a number of names you'll recognise in there. Cohen DeGroot, Aaron Large, to mention a couple of them. Miles Dixon, another one that has come through. David Moll. I mean, how many times have I said Guten Abend, Herr Moll in the past when speaking to him? But a huge array of names that are native to the SSR camp as well. So, Wrestle, Fife, Frinking. We had a wonderful test race a couple of weeks ago. It was absolutely cutthroat beginning to end, and I'm very much looking forward to much of the same. Now, Aaron, you're familiar with a number of these names. Is there any particular ones you're keeping an eye on?
Yeah, looking for that Simsport racing team there in the Honda Civic. I believe that's Haley, Mitchell and Pinchbeck. Very, very accomplished drivers in the Simsport community. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can do in this championship. Very, very quick they were as well.
Right, qualifying is underway. Let's head trackside then. Cameras in control of the wonderful, amazing Smash It Steve Proudly. Very glad to have you on board. There is Roy Grassi. Was set an early time on the board. His last lap was a 1:08.926. Is that your best? Not quite. No, I don't think it is. 1:08.529 is what sees Roy Grassi in third position at the moment. He's in the Avensis. Now, of course, another very big change from previous seasons. We are no longer in Project Cars 2. We have headed over to Assetto Corsa, so that gives us a much bigger range of cars to use and a lot of balancing features that my old faithful P-Cars 2 simply couldn't provide us. And hopefully less issues as well. There is Stephen Haley, as previously mentioned, in the Honda Civic Type R. What a... God, that's... biased, probably. But, that's a good-looking machine. And something else that we commented on in the practice race as well, the liveries look fantastic. We didn't have all of them, but Aaron.
I wouldn't be surprised if Stephen Haley has actually produced that himself, to be fair. He is a very, very good artist when it comes to designing cars. So, those Hondas are looking spectacular out there at Donington.
Now, the BMW is, in past seasons, has been a bit of a favourite. Now, of course, we're not using the Project Cars BMW because, hey, well, nicely done, Mr. DeBosi. And decided to park it right in front of the camera as if he knew. It was as if he knew. That was brilliantly done. But now the BMW, from what I gather, is a bit of a wild cannon in the sense of it can be blisteringly fast if you can get the car to behave itself. As we jump to Cameron Fife, that's a name I'm less familiar with, so welcome to you, another one of the Hondas. But the cars are generally fairly well balanced, but there's distinct differences between them, from what I understand.
Yeah, no, I definitely believe that the BMW is the only rear-wheel drive car on track, and that brings certain advantages anyway, because it allows you to have that ability to have more handling. But like you say, if it's sketchy to drive, then these drivers are really going to have to keep it stable all the way around Donington, rather than the front-wheel drive cars where you kind of got to use the throttle a little bit more to get that steering completed.
Kieran Vidago in 5th position at the moment with a 108.681 as we switch to Aaron Large in the Treble 1 car. Currently finds himself in 15th place with a 109.6. The times are so close between each competitor. It's brilliant to see. Now, Aaron Large in the past, I'm very glad he's kept close to his previous colour scheme. He used to run the BMW over in Portugal too, and I always called it the banana split BMW because the top was white and the bottom was yellow, and he's kept roughly that same colour scheme. I'm very glad. I'd be very disappointed with you, Mr. Large, if you had not kept that one. Has he improved? He has. He's up to 11th position. He has gone for the Audi RS3. Now, also, what is also great to see is we've got a real spread of the different marks being represented. So we switch to Alex Saunders in 14th position in the Alfa Romeo Giulietta, of which there are 3, I think, in the field at the moment. So we've got the BMW, we've got the Toyota Avensis, we've got the Civic, the Audi RS3, and the Alfa GD. I think that's all of them that we've got. What a great mixture.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I don't know, did you notice it as well, Chris, that one of the BMWs, or 2 of the BMWs, are running Alpha 155 paint jobs?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure I saw that.
Yes. Wow, Miles Dixon. No, we'll spot you coming from a mile off. Good Lord, that's a livery and a half. Look at that. That's a stonker. Ah, good to see Miles is with us as well. Now, yes, I am going to be a little bit, I was going to say biased, slightly wrong phrase, but of course I'm going to be a little bit partial to those that came over from the VRCC, the Virtual Racing Car Club, before the merger happened in the off-season between this and last time around. But that's not to say that I'm at all going to be against the wonderful people over at SSR that have given the Virtual Touring Car Cup its new home. As we now look at Thomas Frinking, where he was blindingly quick, and that's a blindingly bright livery. Wow, that's another one you'll see coming. You could turn the lights off in pitch black and still see that thing. My word, that is bright. But Thomas at the moment with a 109.776. Expect more from him. He was definitely towards the sharper end of the field. I can't remember what cars they were in. I hope the fact is a big logo down the side. Excellent. Now, also, a note to the viewers that the liveries generally aren't designed by our drivers. Some people help others, or like Miles here, who's actually part of the Pulse esports team. So there's generally team liveries that go on, but there's usually some little quirk or some personalisation of the big logo. That's made me chuckle. That has. As we ride on board at the moment with Miles Dixon coming up towards that's McLean's through Starkey's Bridge up to McLean's. That he's coming to now. Very easy to fly off the road there. Now here, in my opinion, is the most difficult corner on the circuit. That is Coppice. Really, really blind apex. Keeps it nice and steady. Now we are running the national version of the circuit, so Miles will stay very hard over to the left-hand side along the back straight, down a couple of gears through the Roberts chicane, turning right as opposed to left. To finish the lap off, getting a little bit bumpy over the apexes. Oh, nice finish. This is partly blocking the circuit. Now, we were expecting 4 Pulse drivers. Unfortunately, Miles is the only Pulse Sport representative for that team. We jump back to Stephen Heady, also going 2 wheels over the Roberts chicane. I suspect we're going to see quite a bit of that in the races to come. Still another 7 3/4 minutes to go of qualifying before we get race number 1 underway. There's Roy Grassi. That's what's towards the top. He's still towards the top. He's in 4th position at the moment. 78 thousandths off the top spots. Is he going to improve this time around? Let us see. As he comes over the line, someone parked on the left-hand side. And that is, nope, that's no improvement. We do have a new pole time from Matt Dorrington, who I unashamedly say Matt Donington, especially at this particular location, as Roy Grassi parks that one. A 108.150. That's a Toyota Avensis that now is at the top of the tree.
Yeah, that was fantastic from Matt Dorrington. I was just watching his lap, really, and he was just under a 10th down on a DeBose. and he managed to pull out a 10th there in one of his final laps. It's a fantastic lap time. Also, Steve Haley getting up to 3rd place there, because Grassi has been holding that 3rd spot for such a long time, and Haley and Mitchell have pipped him down all the way down to 5th there, and they're in the pit. So I don't know whether they're going to come out again. They've got 6 minutes, but you know, they've really got to get out there and squeeze a couple of more laps out.
Oh, that's well, that's not the ideal way of going through the rubbish game, but
Perfect.
They owe me of little faith, but questionable colour choice on the wheels, Mr. Pinchback. I mean, there is a bit of a belief that pink makes you go 2/10 quicker. I've reserved judgment, but we'll see what he does. Currently in 9th position with a 108.955, just a couple of tenths off of the next position down. Angus Martin. I kept mumbling up his name with somebody else. I think. Oh no, I kept saying Ashley Martin because that was a person I used to know. Lurid green Audi coming along, where he's heading up towards McLean's now. So currently in. Oh, purple sector 1. Well spotted, cameraman. But just shy of a 10th up is Adam DeBose, who's being known to be pretty damn sharp around these parts. Now through Coppice, keeps the car nice and stable. Is he backed off?
It looks like he has. Well, he's not running wide, is he? It looks like he's probably giving himself some space to the car ahead, maybe.
Yeah, there we go. He wasn't happy about something, but he's clearly got pace out there defined. Lighting up sector 1. Hopefully he'll be able to string it all together. He's got half a tenth defined, and he was more than that up, as you can see, in the first sector alone. So still time out there for the BMW of Adam DeBose to find on circuit. That's Miles Dixon. We've just seen climb up the tower to 9th position in the Audi RS3. He's the lead Audi in the field. He just set a time of 108.870. So the entire field is separated by about 1.7 seconds, which is absolutely amazing. Whoops! Well caught, David Russell. living up to his namesake. How many anecdotes of wrestle and wrestling has he heard in his lifetime? More than I can ever come up with, I would imagine.
Chris, we've just to let you know, in the YouTube chat, we've got Gene Pinchbeck saying "Go go go Pinky Pinchy," which I think we've now firmly established will be his name or his nickname for the remainder of his sim racing career. Because
Pinky Pinchy.
Pinky Pinchy.
Oh, that's his mother. Oh, okay. We've just been informed of that one. Thank you, Mrs. Pinchbeck. He will never be allowed to live that down. That is wonderful. Thank you kindly for that. Regan Mitchell, another of that same squad. As you can see, that lovely black and white livery with that red flash down the middle. Where is Regan? 4th at the moment, 108.513. 600ths of a second to find to overcome the next Honda, or the lead Honda, I should say, of Stephen Haley. Couple of turns up on his previous best. Aaron Large has flown off the road somewhere. The red highlighted names in the tower means they are in a position where they shouldn't be, and Aaron Large has flown off the road at the first turn. He's decided to park it out there for some reason. He's not recovered to the pit. That's another one of the Civics trying to give a bit of a tow to Regan Mitchell. He's down in the second sector though, so it hasn't quite worked out. Oh, that looked a bit deep going into Roberts there. A bit uncomfortable getting out of that. What time does Regan get on the board? It's a 109.2. It's not an improvement, and it's actually 5th for Regan now. It's Cohen de Groot that is in 17th. He's up on his personal best, as we have more people coming off the road. Somebody flew off the road a little bit. Oh, we've lost Aaron Large. Oh dear. Hopefully he's able to return to us. But he has had well, that would explain why he was parked out on the side of the road. He's only got a couple of minutes to return. We now look at Mark Pimlott in the Audi. Oops, a bit of lag. That's a stylish way of going through Coppice. Certainly not the quickest way of doing it. But is he going to do it again? No, he decided once was enough on that one.
Yeah, I have to say though, Chris, just looking at the timing towers, Alan DeBose, who we saw earlier on with a purple sector, and then he let off that lap, he's been consistently getting purple sectors, but he cannot get that 500th that he needs to pit Matt Dorrington to pole position. So he's definitely on a man to watch in these last 2 minutes of qualifying.
And there he is, and he's purple again now. He's only purple by 200ths, not quite enough to usurp Donington from that top spot, but purple is purple nonetheless. What can he do? Coming up to the end of Sector 2, up and over Coppice. That's the tail misbehaving on the BMW. I suspect he'll be down on his time, and he's pulled over. Yeah, I thought he might, as through goes the Audi. That was right behind him. Stephen Haley in third position, just a couple of tenths off the back of Adam DeBose. He's down on the first sector. He's not looking to improve. I suspect he's giving a tow to his teammate behind. The Civic crew working pretty well together there. Now, is that Regan or is that Pinchy? What was it? Pinky? Was it
Pinky Pinchy?
Pinky
Get the
Pinchy.
wine now.
Pinky Pinchy.
Oh dear.
That's going to have us giggling all night, or me certainly. And I make no apologies for it at all. So Stephen Haley is not seeing a good time, but who is that behind him? Which one of the crew is that behind him? Wonder if he's... I suspect what he's doing, he's giving a tow to his teammate behind. Now, is that Regan or is that Chris? Chris Pinchbeck is on
I think it's
track.
Mitchell.
Is it Regan Mitchell? Where is... Yes, it is. Well spotted. So, and there is Regan Mitchell in the 69 car. So he's getting a bit of a tow off of his teammate. Regan is in fifth at the moment. Can he improve? Less than a minute to go. Less than half a minute to go, indeed, until the checkered flag falls. Oh, that's very wide for Stephen Haley, but he won't care. He's not looking to improve, as that was Mark Pimlock that was parked on the side of the road there and has now recovered back to the pits. Oh no, Thomas Frinking has had a disconnection either. Oh no, of course, people leave. That's the way that it works in the set, of course. So they've done the time and they will then leave to allow the server to be set up for the race. And Regan Mitchell is... Oh, he's made good time in Sector 2. Regan Mitchell's currently fifth. Can he improve? Answer is... Oh, he lost in the last sector. That was a shame. That was looking good for Regan Mitchell, but still is a good time in fairness. Remains in fifth with a 108.513. Miles Dixon, ninth in the Audi. Still the lead Audi driver with a 108.870 on the board. A couple of drivers directly ahead. That is... who is that ahead? Is that Pinky Pinchback? Yes, it is. Oh, going two wheels across the last part of Robert's chicane. That's a little bit deep, Miles. Yeah, he's pulled over. That's done for the Seoul Pulse representative. Well, qualifying session is done for race number 1. So the way that the three races will work, we've had the qualifying session for race number 1. And it is Matt Dorrington and Adam DeBose on the front row for that. The Avensis ahead of the BMW. And then the grid for round 2 is formed from the results of race number 1. So wherever you finish in race 1 is where you start in race 2, much like the sprint race going on in Formula 1 at the moment. Let's not talk about that. And then in race 3, it is the top 10 gets reversed, but a random person is chosen to be our pole man. So it is a bit of a mixture. And that race tends to be... Well, they all tend to be pretty good, but that one does tend to throw a bit of a random curveball in there because, of course, the random nature of the grid. And let me assure you, they are great fun.
Yeah, I mean, just adding that random element, and the more variables you can add to racing, the more, I would say, interesting in quotation marks it can become. So I'm really looking forward to that third race. And also, as well, we've got success ballast creeping in along the 3 races. So if you are really good in race 1, you're going to get hit with a 65 kilo race ballast, and if you're that good, you win race 2, you're going to have a combined like 130 kilos added to your car. So it's essentially a passenger. You're going for a test track day in a sense with a passenger in your car, because that is a massive amount of weight to hold into your car for ballast.
Indeed, yes, indeed. So there are ways and means of trying to level the field out, but believe me, even with success ballast that we had in the test race, it was still absolutely frenetic that we had at the Silverstone National Circuit a couple of weeks ago. So very much looking forward to seeing what our drivers managed to do. As I say, Matt Dorrington on the top spot with Adam DeBose. So that's the front row. 108, 150 was our pole time. Row 2 is going to be formed by Stephen Haley and Kieran Vidago. So Toyota, BMW, Honda, BMW for the first 2 rows. Row 3 is Regan Mitchell and Roy Grassi. Roy Grassi being our lead Toyota Aventus. Then is a driver we didn't really get to see. It was Garbo Force. Unfortunately, the list is just reset on me. So we will, of course, pick that out when the grid gets to form. We'll go through them properly when we get to that point. So what happens here is that drivers leave the session. The session that gets set up properly for the race, and then everybody reappears again. Of course, we don't get to see that from the awesome graphics works going on from Simsport Racing, courtesy of Smash It Proudly, that is in charge of the cameras. So whilst we wait for the drivers to reconnect, I think we'll have a short advert break, shall we? Whilst everybody reconnects, and then we'll go through the grid good and proper for race number 1. So joining us in the box is our pole sitter, as he was before for the test race. It is Matt Donington. Welcome to you, sir.
Hello, how are you doing?
Very well. Thank you for taking the time to join us.
No worries.
My goodness me. Talk about close.
Yeah, it's pretty tight up the top there, isn't it?
There's half a tenth between you and Adam DeBose. Now, you two have crossed swords before, if memory serves.
No, I don't think we have.
Oh, really?
So I think in the warm-up races, I don't think we were in the same server. So no, I don't think we have.
I had it in my head. The old age gets hold of the grey faculties from time to time. So, so of the 3 races that we did at Silverstone, you won 2 of them despite having success ballast, and you still, if I remember right, you managed to recover from 10th. Well, you started 10th because of the reverse grid, and then you still finished on the podium.
Yeah,
are you stoppable, sir?
I believe I definitely am. This BMW is going to be quick off the line, so we're going to have a bit of fun and games battling that one into the T1, and then obviously we've got one in 4th as well. So it's going to be snug into turn 1 here. It's going to be good fun. Always round, it's going to be good fun. So that's what matters. And
you're in the Aventus, I believe. So you're representing AGR Motorsports.
I am.
So flying the banner very, very well. So is Donington a track you typically do well at? Is it a favourite of yours?
I don't really like Donington, to be honest. It's one of my least favourite circuits. So yeah, no, it's fine. It is what it is.
Sacrilege!
I just don't like the last chicane. It's just horrible.
It is certainly taxing, and we've seen a few people going 2-wheeled through the Roberts chicane.
Yeah.
No bonus points, but are you still looking to hold on to the top spot, or again are you just gonna? Now you kept saying you were taking it as you were coming, but you still managed to absolutely blitz the field, especially in the first race last time.
This is going to be tight. I can tell you now, this is going to be tight.
Best of luck then for race number 1 and for the season. Thank you very much, Matt Dorrington.
Thanks very much.
So with a minute to go then before we get the race underway, let's quickly run through the grid. Matt Dorrington and Adam DeBose, as mentioned, on row 1. Stephen Haley and Kira Vidago, row 2. Regan Mitchell, Roy Grassi, row 3. Gubba Forst and Dave Hodges, row 4. Miles Dixon and Chris Pinchback on row 5. Alex Saunders and David Russell on row 6. Angus Martin and Aaron Large on row 7. Cameron Fife and Cohen de Groot on row 8. Mark Pimlott and Thomas Frinking on row 9, and a late joiner to the session, I believe, is Istvan Nivade. So we'll see if he's able to join us. Mark Pimlott is still in the pits, if my screen is correct. So has he got a problem? Hopefully he's able to join us. But he was still a great turnout for the opening round of this season's BTCC.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it? I love seeing it. I love seeing a pack grid, and I have to agree there with Matt Dorrington that Donington isn't a friendly track for racing around side to side. You know, it has got kind of like one line nature, especially through the first sector. So yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Here we go, time to get the first race in the race, wind them up and let them go! Who is going to be bravest on the brakes and who is going to have the best start? And that's an absolute stormer from the BMW. Now, Dorrington did say that he was going to struggle to fend off the Beamer, and he hasn't managed to do it. That is Adam DeBose up into the lead as there is Matt Dorrington, our pole sitter. He's already got to fend that one back. Right behind them, we've got, the alpha-flavoured BMW of Kieran DeVargo right behind him. Look at the gap that Dorrington and DeBose have already got to Vidago and Stephen Haley behind. Few swaps of positions, but doesn't look like we've had any major incidents. Everyone has survived. So far, so good.
Been a fantastic start there. Looks like Hedges, though, has gone off to a bit of a bad start. He's all the way down at the back. I'm pretty sure he was in the top half of this grid. He's all the way down in 90th position, so I'm wondering if we can get a replay on board what happened there. He's in the BMW, so I'm sure he'll be able to get back on track to the back of this pack.
Oh, look how early that Adam DeBose went to the defensive line. That's a great exit from Coppice that Matt Dorrington had. Now he's going to try and work his way through the dreaded chicane that Matt Dorrington wasn't a great fan of. Here he goes, attacking for the lead, coming down towards the first turn again. Side by side, Matt Dorrington's nosed into the lead. Right behind the Kieran Vidago and Stephen Haley arguing over third, but no, the BMW later on the brakes manages to sleep back up into the lead. Oh, down into the crane of curves comes Matt Dorrington down through Hollywood. Now, can he get it done before they get to the old hairpin? Ooh, as the BMW bounces off the rumble strip, and yes, he does. Matt Dorrington in the Toyota does get back up into the lead, side by side again through Starkey's Bridge and coming up towards the top of the hill. Whoa, as this Angus Martin in the midst of a big old pack, that would make me feel very, very nervous. Two side by sides within millimetres of one another. And Angus Martin looks like he's going to lose out on that. No, we've got one round. Oh my goodness me, is that? I'm not sure who there was that had that spin. It was Roy Grassi. Oh no. Roy Grassi and Alex Sanders are the victims of that particular issue. Oh my goodness me, a great shame. But look at the fighting going on here. This is what we had in the test race, and we were very much. This is why we were so much looking forward to this particular season. Just look at the Kieran Vidago has not had a moment to blink, let alone breathe. As Stephen Haley is breathing on the exhaust pipe. Oh, and on the inside line, the Civic's trying to usurp the BMW. The Sauber flavoured BMW, Alfa Romeo, Sauber, showing my age. The Alfa Romeo flavoured BMW still side by side through Hollywood, down to the crane of curves. Can they sort it out? Just about. Stephen Haley back up into third.
Fantastic start there from the BMWs. They really rip it off the line there with that rear-wheel drive advantage that they have. But as you've seen, Matt Dorrington already back up into the lead, and Kieran Vidago is doomed in P3. So this is fantastic news here for Dorrington and Vidago, who have made, and Haley, who have made their way back into position.
Up towards Coppice once again. Oh, looks like Faust has lost a couple of positions. What's happened to Galbor? Faust, he's off the road. Oh no, he's had an issue. He's facing the wrong way. Oh goodness me, he's had trouble down there at McLean's. So he's going to try and get back on the road. Now Matt Dorrington getting back into his stride and starting to give himself a bit of breathing space over Adam DeBose. Slightly further back, Miles Dixon, the Pole Sport representative, on the back of Angus Martin as they come through the Robert chicane. And right behind them, Aaron Large and Alex Saunders, who had that early incident, have worked their way back up into the mid-pack. Very nicely recovered there from Aaron Large and Alex Saunders. Lots of fighting going on absolutely everywhere. So, this is what we love about these touring car type of races. Pinky Pinchbeck has bounced off of Rinking. Well, they're actually bouncing off each other as we look at Dixon again, having a look at the inside line coming down towards the old hairpin. You've got to commit earlier than that if you're going to try and make a move, and you can see that's costing momentum. But as Angus Martin then has just got the legs on him. There's Regan Mitchell, another one of the Civics on the back of Kieran Vidago. Now Stephen Haley has managed to break free of the BMW. Can he chase off after the lead pair? And they themselves have got about 0.8 of a second between them. But purple sector 2 for DeBose. So Adam is starting to get back into his stride again. He wants to challenge for that lead. There's Mark Pinlott on the back of the late arriving Ismail Ivadi. So starting last, he's up to 11th. He's managed to survive the early carnage. He's having a good run. There is Debosi. So he's still got the Toyota Avensis in his sights, and he's doing a great job of staying in the tyre tracks of Donington.
Yeah, that was fantastic, that last lap there from Adam Debosi, running purple sector in sector 2, ran a 08.485, and Matt Dorrington just ahead ran a 08.454. So only 0.03 of a second separate these two out front. They've got the space, and it's simple hot lapping from now if they can maintain the space between them.
Absolutely. As there's Angus Martin, the very brightly coloured Audi. He's the lead Audi driver. Miles Dixon was the lead qualifying Audi, if I recall. As they come through, heading up towards Coppice. Right red lights, it looks like on my screen. That's almost an evil-looking car from Miles Dixon. Not sure you need your lights on at the moment, sir, but he's got them on anyway.
He's got a case of red eye.
Well, yeah, he's possessed. My goodness me! I mean, there's determination. That wow. You sort of whoa, and there's a wide Regan Mitchell at the top of the shot there in the Civic. That's not going to help him, but Debosi's closing in again. What was the last lap? Last time around, it was 0.06 of a second in Debosi's favour, so close on pace between the Toyota and the BMW. Vidago and Haley still arguing over third. Now, Kieran Vidago has just wrestled that from Stephen Haley. You can't even see them in the shot. They've managed to build up let's have a look, what's the gap? About 4 seconds between second and third. Great stuff from our lead pair. They're managing to maintain blistering pace and still fight between each other.
Something's gone on just behind Chris, because Stephen Halo made a very audacious move up the inside of Redgate turn 1 a couple of laps ago. He's now back in 4th place, and it feels like Kieran Vidago is starting to stretch his legs a little bit in that BMW, and Regan Mitchell wants a piece of this as well, so these guys are going to be three abreast soon enough.
So many battles still going on. We've got some gaps in the field, as you can see in that particular shot. There is Stephen Haley now with fellow Civic behind him, Regan Mitchell. Now, if Stephen Haley may well opt to let the Civic go if he feels he's holding him up. But right ahead of him is Kieran Vidago, as particularly mentioned. There is Regan Mitchell. So he's closed in on Stephen. What was the last? Yeah, you're absolutely right there, Aaron. So 1:10.6 for Stephen Haley. So he's come off worse somewhere. He's lost 2 seconds to Kieran Vidago, and that's such a difficult amount of time to make up in these sprint races. They're only 15 minutes apiece, so it's really, really difficult to make up that kind of time in a race that's this short and this intense. We don't have a massive field spread going on here. It's not like we have AMs mixed with pros or anything like that. Everybody is on a very similar kind of pace, so making up time is a really, really difficult thing to do.
And it's so easy, especially in touring cars, to really over push. If you start torque steering, that's where you really lose big pockets of time. And I'm really wondering whether Stephen Haley maybe have clipped the outside of the curves, because we've seen it a couple of times already early on in the race, and it can get the car up on 2 wheels, really unsettle the car. Yeah, with front wheel drive you can kind of stamp it out, massive throttle. Oh wow, what happened there?
That was Chris Pinchbeck ran wide up at Coppice, it looked like. But I think, I think he's come together with Roy Grassi. Whoa, hey, that's not the way to take that corner. That's Gable Faust. It's side by side with Tom Frinking there. My goodness me, now something's definitely happened, because Roy Grassi's suddenly down in 18th place, and he and Pinchbeck were fighting for quite a lot. 3 wide coming down into Redgate. My word, that is close. Now, Gable Faust has gotten out of that a little bit. So it's Cohen de Groot and Thomas Frinking around him, the 2 bright green Alfa Romeos. There behind is Dave Hedges. Oh, that's still he's still giving everything he's got. Fair play to him. Bit squiggly on the brakes coming down towards Old Hairpin. What's the BMW going to do here? Oh, wow, that door got very firmly shut in his face from Cohen de Groot. Great teamwork there going on by the Alfa Romeos ahead of him. And there's the next BMW of Dave Hedges trying to get involved. And the BMW's got great pace coming out of McLean's, but nowhere to use it. He's just got boxed in. But he has managed to get back ahead of Cohen de Groot, who's immediately going to attack again on the inside coming out of Coppice. Brilliant stuff. And now the Alfa Romeo flavoured BMW wants to have a go.
A 155 pace up is definitely an extra 5 miles an hour here. I mean, Dave Hedges was plumb last coming out of lap 1. and he is loving what he's seen in front of him. That's a spin for Faust. He is off the track there. He's going to get it back really quickly. Oh, it looks like he stalled it.
Oh, what a shame. He's going again. You can just see at the top of the shot that he bounced off of going to grid there. And there's Dave Hedges trying to get involved. He's fending off the advances. That's Roy Grassi right with him. So that's how badly Roy Grassi's race has gone. But up front, our leaders are right on top of one another again. The same with Stephen Haley and Kieran Vidago. They're right with one another. As our lead pair are only 2/10 apart. There they are, just vaguely seeing them at the top of the shot. Lovely picture-in-picture there. You can see the two battles going on. One battle for the lead, one battle for third. The whole podium being fought after. There at the bottom of the shot, you just saw Cameron Fife. He's been in the pits. So, yeah, he's had a pretty rough run of it. I think Gabriel Faust has I think he's been in the pits, or he's showing as having pitted. I'm not 100% sure he did. But I think he just ended up going over that way. That's why the server thinks he's pitted. Ooh, was it a move there from 80? Oh, wow. Goodness me. The Kieran Vidago really felt the need to defend quite heavily. And flash of the lights from Stephen Haley. Wasn't happy about that. It was a fairly robust move. I think it was perfectly fair from Vidago to defend that.
No, absolutely, and but I think that Kieran Vidago is aware of how Stephen Haley, or where Stephen Haley is going to make these attempts to overtake. He did it before, right down the inside of turn one. You know, Kieran Vidago, he's wise to this. He's not going to let that happen a second time. But you've got to think from Stephen Haley's point of view now. You know, you're not going to catch first and second. Your teammate's right behind you. Really, you want to get in front of Kieran Vidago and really hold him up so Regan Mitchell can capitalise as well.
Yeah, nice team thinking there, Aaron. As we see the lead pair once again, Matt Donington still fending off, or working really hard to defend off the advances of Adam DeBose. Now over the line once again, 8 minutes 25 to go, which you can see at the top of the screen. Then you've got the next battle behind in the picture-in-picture there of Vidago and Haley, as previously mentioned. The Honda Civic still behind the BMW as they come into Redgate yet again. Oh, bit of a tyre locker there, I think, from the BMW. Wow, absolutely brilliant stuff. Half the race gone and still fighting absolutely everywhere. Now our lead pair are coming up to the back of Cameron Fife, who's going to become real popular fairly soon. Unless he can find some extra pace. There he is at the top of the shot. So it's a bit of a shame from that Honda. Oh, again, that's Adam DeBose trying to really put Matt Donington off his pace, or certainly off his rhythm a little bit in the tyre tracks of the Toyota Avensis. What can the BMW do here? Now, we saw how well he accelerated off the line. He's thinking about trying to go on the inside line, but doesn't quite get the drive he needs. Donington's got the drive exactly where he needs it. It's exactly what he did in the practice race. He was defending for all he was worth, but he was doing it very sensibly, doing exactly what he needed to do, where he needed to do it. Not defending fresh air, not doing anything silly, just doing exactly what he needs to do to keep the competition behind. And Adam DeBose is doing everything he can to usurp Matt Donington.
Dorrington's running compromised lines, so I'd say, yeah, DeBose is working him like a treat at the moment. Have to say,
Great
that was spectacular control. That was spectacular control there from Kieran Vidago. Not going to be sure he's best pleased with that, but he held that super well, and he's going to have to fend off Regan Mitchell in the meantime.
Yeah, what a great move from Stephen Haley. That was bold and brave, and it absolutely worked as Vidago got really crossed up. Had to hang on to that as best as he could. As we now jump back to the lead pair, still closing in on Cameron Fife. So Cameron is absolutely fine to hold his line at the moment, but he could well play a part in this as the BMW tries again to get the drive out of Coppice onto that back straight. It just cannot get the legs over the Avensis, as that's Cameron Fife getting well out of the way. Whoa! That was never going to work. And yeah, I get out of the way quick is what Adam's thinking to himself, which he does. Was that a misbraking opportunity? Misbraking zone, do you think? Or was he really trying to make that move work? Because if he was trying for a move, that was a bit too desperate.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there, Chris. I mean, like, that it's a chicane. I get that, but ultimately it's a high-speed chicane. You're not going into a heavy braking zone, so to really kind of come across the line there, you would expect nothing less than contact and disaster. So I kind of feel like he had the pace all the way around the rest of the track there, but what he's not taking into account is that the Avensis is 3 miles an hour faster down the straight than the BMW. So yeah, the BMW has the corner in, but the Avensis has the top speed, and you just can't trump that sometimes.
Those red lights on Miles Dixon are terrifying. Just look at that. It's absolutely amazing. Whoa, Adam DeMosey again trying that same move that didn't work for him down at the Roberts again. That's Angus Martin. He's trying to get alongside. As the Audi went to defend but realised the BMW's already there. Side by side then coming through Coppice, but the BMW's going to have the drive and gets up into 5th. Here's Angus Martin. No, Angus isn't ready to let that go just yet. Still side by side coming down towards the Roberts chicane. They're going to have to figure this out. BMW's still nosing ahead. Oh, Angus Martin. No one gave him the memo that they're still side by side. Well driven. That was brilliantly done. That's wow. I mean, you've got to be said something to be said for determination. Oh, steady, boys! I think DeMosey had assumed the move was done, and still he's hanging on to it. He's now going to have to finally succeed that one to Adam DeMosey. Well driven from both of them. Whoa! Well, me of little faith is still the Audi comes to try and make a move in somewhere where there was no room, and then the possessed Miles Dixon right behind them. I wonder if is that his ploy? He's trying to terrify people off the track. I mean, I guess you've got to try something. Something a bit different.
See a doctor about it, to be honest. That's not right.
Yeah, it's different, I suppose. Kieran Verdaga then in 3rd position. So there's Stephen Haley directly ahead. So that's about an hour 4 second. Now Matt Donington, he's just free to dance off into the distance now. 6.2 seconds his lead over Stephen Haley. He's got nothing immediately to worry about with less than 4 minutes to go. But look at the pack behind. Now, yes, Cameron 5 is in there. He's a lap down, but you've still got quite a few cars all jostling for position around there. Now, Stephen Haley can try and back Kieran Verdaga into his teammate. We'll see if he's able to do that, but there is a bit of a gap there between Regan Mitchell and Kieran Verdaga. So I don't know, with the amount of time he's got left, I think he may just opt to either try and break the slipstream back to Verdaga or just hold his position rather than try anything silly. We will see. You just never know with these type of touring cars. There's Dave Hedges slightly further back. Still battles going on. Current degree directly ahead of him in the bright green Alpha, the lead of the Alfa Romeos. Oh, great run there from Hedges on the exit of Redgate down into Hollywood. Job done. Great move.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, Dave Hedges, since he was plumb last on lap 1, he's been running comfortably in a 208s, 209s there. So, like, he's had the pace on all those in front of him. It's unfortunately time is his worst enemy. He only gets 20 minutes of racing, and he's only got just over 3 of those remaining in this race. But he's doing a fantastic job, and I don't think he's going to be too disappointed with this result.
No, still 2 more races to do tonight of this wonderful Donington circuit. Plenty of action still to come. Still 2.5 minutes of this one to figure out. And Istvan Ivadi was late to the party. Oh, hello, who was that?
Someone just joined the party.
Yeah, that's Alex Saunders. Was taking a slightly alternate line. Oh, steady. Figure that out. So David Russell just gained a position there out of nowhere as Alex Saunders was taking a bit of a scenic route through the Roberts again. And we don't really know what happened there. He just kind of just appeared. So something went horribly wrong for the lead Alfa Romeo. Either way, now back on pace with Istvan Ivadi right behind him. So here we've got Audi versus Alfa versus BMW. So the only thing that isn't in there is the Toyota. It's the Toyota and the Honda. So 3 of the 5 marks in this particular fight alone. Oh, is Ivadi going to make a move? Thinks about it on the inside. Nope, that door gets very slammed in his face by Alex Saunders, taking a bit of a liberty with the apex line. Is the BMW now going to get this good run there? Right behind them, is that Mark Pemlock that's directly behind? I think it is. Yes, it is. Oh, blimey, we've seen these side by side go wrong more than right so far. I love the team there, the Full Send Racing team, in that's a very distinct colouring. We've seen the Full Send team pretty much every season we've done the VTCC. Oh, big move from the BMW, but can't quite close that off. And gets really squiggly on the exit of Redgate. It's a shame. It's a bold move, but yeah, it's always a dangerous one to do. As you were saying earlier, Aaron, there's no major braking zones here, so you've pretty much got to banzai it no matter where you go.
Yeah, and it looked like initially the first part of that, when he was heavy braking, was perfect. It looked like his throttle application was a bit lead-footed, I would say, is the best description, because the back end got out, looked like he was opposite locking to try and keep the car under control, and maybe that's one of the big disadvantages of having a rear-wheel drive BMW, where in the front-wheel drives you can just plant the throttle and the car will steer where you want it to go, especially in that Alfa Romeo.
Now, steer with the rear, that's the way you do these things. Leader on the final lap then, Matt Dorrington, ready to sew up race number 1. Oh, someone thinking the race is done already, or they were maybe saying hello to us. Yeah, maybe he knew we were watching. Whoa, no, bounce off the apex out of the rubber chicane for Alex Saunders. Is that going to be an opportunity for Istvan Avadi to make a move? Not quite. So the Alfa Romeo had managed to give himself a bit of breathing space from the chasing BMW to hold on to 10th place for now. Matt Dorrington is just coming through the cleans now, up towards Coppice for the final lap of race number 1. So he's going to gain himself a big old chunk of success bonus for race number 2. Didn't seem to bother him in the practice races. We'll see if that is the case this time around. And still sitting purple sectors is Adam DeBose, who is in 5th position, but he's still proving he's got the place. Oh, Vidago, look at the picture-in-picture, but your race winner for race number 1 here at Donington Park is the Toyota Aventus of Matt Dorrington. Great stuff in the 166 car. Second, just is going to be Stephen Adey. Brilliant battle between himself and Kieran Vidago rounds out the podium 3. Regan Mitchell 4. 2 purple sectors in that last lap alone for Adam DeBose in 5th. 6th was Angus Martin. 7th, Miles Dixon. 8th, Aaron Large. 9th is looking like he's going to be David Russell. There he is. Great run for him, considering he was nearly last, I'm sure, at one point. Alex Saunders 10th, Mark Pimlott in 11th. Istvan Avadi is going to claim in 12th position. Chris Pinky Pinchbeck is, although the positions are swapping around on my screen, so he's now listed as 12th. Dave Hedges 14, Karen DeGroot 15. That's because the people are leaving the session. That's why it's my screen is jumping around like mad. There's Roy Grassi. It started well, but went badly for him. He comes home in 17th position with Tom Frinking, last man on the lead lap. Cameron Fife, sadly, having to pit early on, was last and lapped on that occasion. But what a way to kickstart this season.
That was a fantastic race there, it really was. It was gripping up and down the field as well. It wasn't just the pack spread out and you're just waiting for someone to make a slight mistake. They were going bumper to bumper, 2x2 into Coppice is never a good idea, but it looks fantastic on Spectator. It looks fantastic from our point of view, so I can't wait to see more of that in race number 2.
Amen to that. Now, if we get the chance to speak to particularly our podium 3, that would be good. But they're not obliged to speak to us, but it always is good to have a chat with particularly our podium 3. But anybody that wants to come and have a chat with us, we're always welcome. We do have one of them that has put themselves in the waiting room. It is none other than Kieran Vidago. Are you with us, sir?
All right.
Wow. You didn't have a chance to breathe, let alone to actually have any kind of your respite in that race at all.
No, yeah, I always had a Honda near me, didn't I?
Now, firstly, why on earth is your car Alfa Romeo colours?
Because I'm an Alfa Romeo fanboy.
Good man. What a great race. You and Stephen were just constantly battling. Was that what you were thinking coming into this race, that you were always going to have either Stephen or someone near you, or just kind of taking it as it goes?
I knew that Steve, Regan, and the 2 guys in front were definitely going to be on pace. I've seen their lap times in the practice servers, and they're really good. And I love racing with Steve. Steve's a really good racer. It's fun racing with him.
And is Donington a favourite of yours, or again, Donington seems to be quite divisive. It's either really, really enjoyed or loathed from a driving perspective. Which camp are you in?
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. Great track.
Awesome stuff. So you'll be starting from 3rd position in race 2, looking to climb up the podium, or is it going to be fighting for every available inch of space?
Hopefully climb up the podium. Beamer's good off the start, so should be in 2nd straight away, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Awesome stuff.
Best of luck for race number 2 and for the rest of the season. Thank you very much. Kieran Vidago.
Thank you.
Joining us in the box as well is his sparring partner, Steve Haley. Are you with us?
I am. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening to you. Well, I'll say this much the same to you. You two just didn't give each other a quarter anywhere.
No, I tend not to like to give Kieran an inch because he generally takes two. But yeah, that was some great, clean, proper good touring car racing there. Really enjoyed that. Fantastic.
Now that, particularly the outside manoeuvre through Redgate, was something to behold. Now, again, was it the case of, oh, well, I'm here, I may as well commit to it? Or did you kind of think about that before you got there?
Well, I was actually thinking about trying to get in a switchback, but I didn't drop back enough, so I thought, well, I'm here, I might as well stick with it. After seeing Formula 1 today, I thought, oh my God, here we go, deja vu.
Hang on and hope. I like it.
But I know racing with our guys that, we can go toe-to-toe, we can go side-by-side, and we know that we're in safe hands, and it's all good usually.
Oh, I couldn't have put it better myself. It's why we love this series and why we're very much glad it's part of the Simsport Racing family. So starting on the front row, is there a challenge to Mr. Dorrington, do you think? He's a bit lively around here, isn't he?
I don't think so, no. I think if we can settle for second, we've got DeBosey. Is it DeBosey? He's starting behind us. He's going to be rapid through the field. I know for a fact if Kieran isn't in P1 by the first corner, I'll be very, very much surprised.
Have you got a fan going in the background? Are you a little warm over there, sir?
Yes.
I'm not surprised. You and Kieran gave us a great show and very much looking forward to more of the same. Good luck for the rest of the race and for the rest of the season. Thank you very much. Stephen Haley.
Cheers, boys. Thank you very much.
And Mr. Dorrington has not reappeared for interview. Like I say, he doesn't have to. There's going to be a small intermission now whilst 7 and 2 is set up and ready to go, and also gives our drivers a bit of a respite. And I think, as we've mentioned before, Aaron, I think some of them need it.
No, absolutely, and I just following on from what Stephen said in that interview. He doesn't give himself enough praise sometimes, because he wouldn't know that when I was looking at the live timings, he was only maybe in a tenth of Dorrington's times around that when he could spread his wings. So, if he can build up his own confidence, I really think he could be a challenge to Matt Dorrington.
Good, that word, and also bear in mind that Dorrington's going to have a success ballast, so that's going to be awesome to see. Now, one thing we'll mention before we head to a commercial break is the VTCC, the Virtual Touring Car Cup, is every 2 weeks, and in the gap in between each week is the GT3 season. It starts its 7th season. We had race number 1 last week at Silverstone, and you can see the Canada there. So next week out, it is Paul Ricard. There are 40 cars on the grid for this particular season. It is something to behold, believe you me. Yes, typical salesman speech. Guilty as charged, and not sorry for it either, because it's a fantastic series to see. So every Sunday there is something going on here at Simsport Racing. But whilst we get the next race underway, we'll take a quick break here, and do join us for race number 2. It's going to shape up to be just as good as the first one. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back as soon as we can. Race number 2 will be with us in the next few minutes as our drivers are rejoining the session. So we heard from some of our drivers, and or 2 of our podium 3, so Stephen Haley and Kieran Vidaga we heard from. Now then, will Mr. Dorrington be able to dance off into the distance? Was rather helped by Adam DeBosey bouncing off of him and making a spin. What can Adam do from 5th place, I wonder, Mr. Pilkington?
Well, I think it's race 2 advantage to Bozy, because just in that last bit, he was on an absolute rampage in the last stage of that race 1. There, he was purple sectors galore. He set the fastest lap, and also he's going to have 30 kilos less than Matt Dorrington's going to have in his events starting off pole. So I kind of feel like he's got a really good chance here, especially as he rips off the start in the BMW. I feel like he's going to be a contender to win race number 2.
Oh, heard it here first, folks. Right, so the field have formed now. So there is a mandatory 5-minute period before the race goes green, irrespective of whether everyone's ready or not. It does give us a chance to go through everything. So let's have a look at these wonderful liveries that our drivers are sporting in our Spotter's Guide. My eye always goes to Angus Martin first. It's just that bright green. Yeah, it is. It's highlighter green. It's absolutely amazing. But look at the great artwork we've got going on. The Pulse cars are colourful. That is certainly true, with that odd mixture of yellow, pink, and black. But as I say, my eye always goes to the highlighter green of Angus Martin. The BMWs right behind him look pretty good, but I gotta say I'm quite keen on the Civics 24, 43, and 69.
Yeah, no, they're beautiful cars, and Stephen Haley does a cracking. I had a feeling it was him that designed them. He has a cracking eye for design. Apart from the pink rims, which he probably didn't have a say on. But for me. but for me, like, nostalgia really kicks in with Pimlott in the Audi.
Yes.
With the it's a bit more white than silver, but if you can just cast your mind back to the all-wheel drive Audi that used to run in the British touring cars, it kind of looks the same, which is really cool. I love it.
Yeah, it's easy to get that. And look at, you can see the red glow from Miles Dixon's car. It's, God alive, man.
He didn't get his prescription in time. He's still got problems with his race.
True enough. I'm still stunned that Pinky Pinchbeck requested those wheels. That's, well, I mean, he stands out. Can't say that he doesn't. That's certainly true.
Pinchbeck, I don't think that's a surprise at all.
He said it, not me.
Bless him. Absolutely, just bless his cotton socks.
Thomas Frinking seems to have disappeared. Oh no, he's reappeared again. He's reconnected. Good. We don't want to lose people from our lineup. So then, as you can see from the tower, we've got 40 seconds before the race gets underway. So it is Dorrington and Haley on row 1, Kieran Vidago, Regan Mitchell row 2, Adam DeBose and Angus Martin row 3, Miles Dixon and Aaron Large row 4, David Dressel and Mark Pimlott on row 5, Heath Vinivadi and Chris Pinchbeck row 6, Alex Saunders and Dave Hedges row 7, Cone de Groot and Gabor Forst in row 8, Roy Grassi and Cameron Fife row 9, Thomas Frinking because he's reconnected. I'm assuming he's going to start from the pit lane. Not sure where he's going to be, but either way, he's probably going to be at the back. So, Aaron, you're putting your money on Adam DeBose. We will see who's going to come out on top. It is time for race 2. Wind him up and let him go. Who is going to have the greatest start? Wow, those BMWs are absolutely storming again. Now, is the Audi going to be overturned? Sorry, is the Toyota going to be overrun before they get into turn 1? No! Dorrington does manage to fend off the advantage of Kieran Vidago. Now, success bonus has been applied to our top 10 from the last race. So the heaviest car out there is Matt Dorrington. Doesn't seem to have stopped him. He hasn't had the memo that he's got half a cow or something in the back of the car. So, that's deep for Vidago. No, he will make these cars behave a little bit differently. They'll take longer to slow down. They'll take more time to turn in. Sounds obvious, but in the heat of the battle, it's easy to forget that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, look at Adam DeBose, just blinders, just tunnel visions, makes up 2 positions off the start, and he's already challenging the BMW of Kieran Vidago. That is so close.
Absolutely is. We look at Angus Martin trying to make a move at Stephen Haley. Now cuts to the inside line, coming down towards the Robert chicane. So many side-by-sides. Aaron Large has actually fallen to the back of the field. He's had a bad start. Oh, my goodness. That's DeBose and Kieran Vidago. You said that Adam DeBose was on a mission. My word, he's up into second. Oh, here we go again. Dorrington and DeBose, first and second. But of course, Matt Dorrington now does have a bit of breathing space because everybody's fighting. 3 wide again, coming down into Redgate. The 2 Hondas are side by side. Oh, wow, who's going to win out on that one? It looks like everybody has survived. There's Vidago with Angus Martin behind. Regan Mitchell is the lead of the Honda Civics. My goodness me, Angus Martin is dancing all over the back of the BMW of Kieran Vidago. Looks like everybody has survived, but we haven't got anybody in the pit lane. So Aaron Large has had a bit of a problem. He's now fallen to the tail end of the field. But Struth alive. Whoa, that looked a bit late, or just a little bit early maybe from Kieran Vidago. Oh no, Fife and Large are off the road. Aaron Large is going the wrong way. Oh goodness me, he's had trouble. I think him and Fife have come together. There we go. So it is down to the old hairpin. That's come together. So that's 2 for 2 for Cameron Fife. He's had a pretty bad race one. There goes Aaron Large in the banana split flavoured car, as I called him last season. Well, I've got him every season because that's the colour scheme he's gone for. As that's Ifani side by side with Pinky Pinchback. Oh my goodness, Pinchback got a punch in the face from the BMW. He's now gone off the road. He has managed to survive. So Ifani is fallen down several positions now, down to the 14th place. Was 10th when he came into that chicane. My word, it's all kicking off.
Yeah, I mean, can we just pay some attention though to David Russell? I know there's been action everywhere, but he has actually split the Simsport Hondas there. He made a fantastic move on I think it was Miles Dixon, sorry, in the red-eyed Audi. Fantastic move up through Redgate, and then he just sequentially just went through the inside of Stephen Haley. So he's got Regan Mitchell in front of him, but a fantastic job from David Russell so far in 6th place. It's his best positioning so far on this calendar with in the second race.
Great effort indeed, as we see Angus Martin fending off the advantage of Regan Mitchell. There's Kieran Vidago already ahead. Roy Grassi and Pinky Pinchback having an argument for 11th position. There is Miles Red-Eye Dixon. Again, that's just so daunting, the front end of that car. So Cohen de Groot and Eastman Avadi arguing for 14th place. As our competitors, our gladiators, come over the line once again. And it's just impossible to know where to look. I don't envy the camera work from the amazing Mr. Proudly at the moment that is finding all the battles for us to shout about. One that is going to be forming fairly soon is the top 2. Dorrington and DeBose are getting closer and closer, of course. As mentioned, Matt Dorrington does have a heavier car due to the success ballast. Adam finished in 5th, so he has considerably 30 kilos, you were saying, Aaron, is the success ballast difference between the two.
Yeah, I mean, just look at that gap, though, that he's pulled on Kieran. They did come together, they did bang doors through the last chicane last lap, but he lost a second, but that's more than a second difference there. Adam DeBose is on an absolute fly right now. He does have the weight advantage as well. I mean, the best thing that Kieran Vidago can do is pray that Dorrington pulls out a defensive masterclass, because he's just not going to catch him on pace.
No, indeed. As we look at David Russell, who's having a great race here. He's ahead of Stephen Haley, as previously mentioned. That's the Civic behind him. He's trying to do something about Regan Mitchell directly ahead, who's himself trying to make a move over Angus Martin. Looking at the time difference, it's 2.2 seconds to separate DeBose and Vidago. As mentioned, was a second. It doubled in a lap. Absolutely great pace going on there. As David Russell's lost the back end a little bit. Oh, we've got one off. That's Hedges. That's gone off on the way down towards. That's a Hollywood that he's had trouble. That's why you saw his name drop on the tower. And there he is now, seemingly in the middle of nowhere, with Tom Frinking behind. We've lost Cameron Fife. He is disconnected from the session, so he will take no further part in this race. That's a great shame. But David Russell is doing pretty well. Oh, that's a lead battle. We knew this one was coming. And Matt Dorrington's car must feel like an absolute boat with the success ballast going on in there. There goes the BMW. This didn't work for you last time. And no, Matt Dorrington makes sure that Adam DeBose cannot commit to that line again. But we saw in the practice race how well Matt Dorrington handles the success ballast in his car. And like you say, the only hope that Kieran Vidago realistically has is that Matt Dorrington turns into a defensive god and keeps that charging DeBose behind him.
Absolutely, and as well, you've got to think that DeBose really must learn from his mistakes. He was really, really close to the back of Donington there going through the S's, and I really can't understand what he's trying to achieve there. Really, if you've got that weight and you've got that advantage, especially in the lower gears acceleration, maybe you want to just hold back a bit, get a better run through the chicane, which you would do, and then just power through. But he gets so close that he has to brake super early as he goes on the inside. That was contact there. I think that was fantastic through McLean's, and he's got himself a big gap. And this is, Kieran Vidago rubbing his hands together at this.
That was almost a carbon copy of what he did in the first race, just not in the same place. But the result was not the same there. It was Regan Mitchell. What's happened to him? He's fallen down slightly. Oh no, there has been a few changes going on here, because there's Dave Russell with them as well. Stephen Haley with Miles Dixon for company. So I think what's happened there is that Russell and Mitchell have come together, because they've lost a couple of positions each to Stephen Haley and Miles Dixon, and now the red eye of the Audi trying to do something about the Civic ahead of him. They can't quite do it. There must be something in the regulation about, well, at the moment he doesn't seem to care if there's anything in the regulations about red headlights, but it's certainly making him very distinct as they work their way down through the corner curves into the old hairpin once again. And Steve Haley doing everything he can to keep the ever-present red ghost.
Mitchell's going down the inside. What a fantastic run there for Mitchell. He's going to go side by side through McLean's. That was huge there for Mitchell. Just let Angus, was it Angus Martin there?
Oh! And now Alex Saunders looks like he lagged there. It did look like he got a tap on the back there from Roy Grassi, but that looked like it was lag induced. So a bit of an unfortunate moment there for Alex Saunders. But on they go nonetheless. There is Miles Dixon, like you say, with Regan Mitchell trying everything he can to get that Civic ahead of the Audi. They go nonetheless, and the lead pair are still, well, you could just about see in that shot actually, the lead pair just keeping each other company, but of course they can't just run off into the distance like they did last time. Their cars are quite a bit heavier, so they haven't just disappeared into the distance. Vidago is closing in on them. It's now 1.5 seconds that separates DeBosi and Vidago, although DeBosi was quicker than Kieran Vidago last time around. That extra pace is just helping DeBosi stay on the back of Matt Dorrington, but just has not quite got, well, he's got the pace to certainly get past, just hasn't found the opportunity. Oh, as I say that, now side by side up towards Coppice. Surely now this is Adam DeBosi's chance, but we've seen how strong that Toyota is on the exit of anywhere. Now I would imagine DeBosi's going to go straight to the defensive line, which he does. Now is Matt Dorrington going to bounce on that one on the outside? Yes, he is, side by side. Ooh, this didn't go well for the BMW last time. Oh, nicely done from Adam DeBosi. Lighter car later on the base, but that's allowing Kieran Vidago to get involved. Three-way battle for the lead. Yes, please.
That was fantastic. That great car control from Adam DeBosi. It's not over yet as he goes side by side through Redgate. I think he's just going to try and make the cut back here on DeBosi. It's not going to work out. He gets all that shape. He's on the grass. And that is him. That is DeBosi securing his first place currently in this race with 10 minutes to go. But Vidago can really capitalise on this as long as he keep battling.
Well, they're not showing any sign of willing to give each other quarter. So that battle is set to carry on, but of course Matt Dorrington with the weight disadvantage, which will equalise out after this race, or will to a certain point. Are they going to continue? Can Matt Dorrington just stay on the back of the BMW? Now I think, Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Toyota is slightly quicker in a straight line than the BMW. Have I got that the wrong way there?
No, you're absolutely right. The Toyota is marginally quicker. We're talking 3 mile an hour, but if you equate that and include draft as well as it comes towards the S's, that is a big amount. That's why you saw him gain a huge amount of time around the outside. Didn't quite work out, but that is a threat that the Aventus holds over the BMW.
Mark Pimlott there on the back of Roy Grassi. They've been arguing all race long. Oh no, I think Roy lost that on his own because he went in a bit hot into the road and chicane. Although Mark Pimlott's slow, was there impact? Well, there was impact between the two. Whoa! That's DeBosi getting that one wrong, going down into Redgate, and well, Matt Dorrington doesn't need a second invitation of that one.
Yeah, that was that is the problem with that. When you start pushing that BMW, I think no traction control rear-wheel drive, the back end will start to, it will start to come out on you, and you've really got to be able to control it. DeBosi done a fantastic job in his first 2 races of car control, but he's gone super wide at McLean's. It looks like Kieran Vidago is coming up here at Coppice. He's going to have a great run here, and I think that this is going to allow Dorrington to really push away here, because Kieran Vidago will be on the back of DeBosi, and DeBosi will have to compromise his own lines if he doesn't want to get attacked by Kieran, who will be looking for a top 2 finish.
Absolutely, he's got a great pace to be able to do so. He's closed in that 2 seconds, was over 2 seconds at one point between himself and the top 2. Here we go again, and we've got another 8 minutes of this, so absolutely loving this as we see Dorrington go very defensive. I mean, down in the red gate, can DeBosi fly around the outside? He's given it a good go. Noses ahead, but he's not going to have the advantage coming into Hollywood. But he wants the inside line for the Crane of Curves. Realistically, he wants the inside line for the old hairpin, but he's going to take anything he can get. Still side by side. Now into the old hairpin. My goodness me, DeBosi's not willing to give that up. Neither is Dorrington. Here comes Vidago now. Oh, can Vidago get that second position from Dorrington? Now side by side through Swan's Curve up towards McLean's. Bouncing off each other's doors. No, the alcoholic of Vidago has had to concede that one. Flash of the lights. Well, it's touring cars. You're going to bounce off each other. And there is Angus Martin now looking to get involved. 4-way battle for the lead.
I don't think this is done. This is fantastic racing here. We've got a 4-way battle for the lead. They're all going to flash through this last sector here all together within screen. It's fantastic. The high vis is in full place. I don't think that's going to stay like that though, because the amount of mistakes that DeBosi's making is allowing Dorrington, Vidago and now Martin to really capitalise on this, and he's going defensive to BMW. Look at the speed of that Avensis.
Absolutely unreal. BMW versus Avensis versus BMW versus Audi. What a great mixture of cars and drivers and liveries and nationalities as well, in fairness. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Vidago and Martin side by side. DeBosi back ahead of Dorrington now on the way down towards the old hairpin. Didn't quite see that one happen. Oh, Vidago's gone slightly crossed up. That's Angus Martin now up in the third. So that's gone wrong for the alcoholic of Kieran Vidago. And there is Stephen Haley. He's never far away from the action, is he? Well, Haley and Vidago are going to resume their battle from race 1.
I mean, like this is it's a great opportunity for Vidago that's turned into a worse nightmare, because yes, I think he finished third in the first race, which means he's got a lot of success ballast on his car, and Angus Martin just flew around the outside there. Really no challenge from Kieran Vidago, nothing he could do through the high speed sector, first sector, and he looks like he's going to be challenging for this race and the war for a podium with 6 minutes to go.
Still plenty of action to figure out then. Let's see what they do. Down into Redgate once again. Dorrington behind. BMW, a bit of a lock-up coming into Redgate. Staying in the tyre tracks of Adam DeBosi. We see Angus Martin behind. He's keeping Kieran Vidago at bay, who himself is resuming his battle with Stephen Haley. Down through the Crane of Curves into the old hairpin. Matt Dorrington still with the momentum to keep the BMW in check. Up they come. Starkey's Bridge, Swan's Curve, and now for McLean's. And now the BMW is starting to get into his rhythm. He's got a bit of a gap now. And certainly uphill, I would think, is when the success balance is really going to hurt the most. Now up and over the crest of Coppice. This is where the slight speed advantage of Matt Dorrington may well help him keep in touch. But Adam DeBosi looks set to start to really press his advantage now.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's not much here Matt Dorrington can do. He does have that top speed, but if you can just imagine all that weight that he has to carry, in those low speed corners, especially turn 1, he's going to be losing a car length at most. Every lap if DeBosi doesn't make mistakes, and if you're trying to catch somebody and counting on them making mistakes, it doesn't usually end well, I'm afraid.
Miles Dixon, or Deadeye Dixon as we can call him, with the bright red lights, is still fending off Regan Mitchell. Regan with the inside line. The two Civics arguing over who's going to have this one. The Civic and the Audi arguing about who's going to have this one. Bit of a tap on the side and through into 6th position for Regan Mitchell, but he's gone a little bit too deep in the old hairpin. Surely that's going to allow Miles Dixon back through. Yes, it does. Before they get through Starkey's Ridge, up through Swan's Curve and into McLean's. In comes David Russell. He didn't need a second invitation of that. My goodness me, gives gives Regan Mitchell a bit of a punch in the face there as he gains that 7th position. I'm trying not to say wrestles a position because that was too obvious. Trying not to say it.
You did well until you said it.
yeah, because I almost said it, and then I had to confess what I was doing. Regan Mitchell, bouncing over the curves, got a little bit wide onto the grass, but keeps it going and remains in that particular pack 8th position for Regan Mitchell. As we now have 3.5 minutes to go. It's going to be about 3 laps, give or take. As DeBosey really is pressing home his advantage now. 1.6 seconds to the good for him over Matt Dorrington, and Matt's got no answer to that. There's half a second minimum difference between them, as the BMW now is just going to run off. We knew he had the pace to do it, just needed the opportunity to get past the mighty Matt Dorrington, and he's finally managed to do so. Unless he bins it on his own, this looks set to go the way of the BMW.
Yeah, no, just to give you an update on really the lap times there, Adam DeBosey running an 8.7, 1 minute 8.7, very, very close to his qualifying time, and even with the ballast. And then you have Matt Dorrington at 109.2. So the 5/10 here, which is exactly what you said, he's half a second behind. That's because he was half a second slower than Matt DeBosey on that last lap, and that really is the trouble with that success ballast.
Yeah, but that's exactly why it's there, isn't it? It's to prevent one person running off with all the silverware. As we see Pinky Pinchback fending off the advances of Gabriel Faust and also Mark Pimlott, as they're all scrapping for their particular bits of tarmac. 9th position for Chris Pinchback. What's happening further up front? There's David Russell in 8th place on the back of Regan Mitchell, so they swap round at some point. Do they come together again, I wonder? Not too sure. No, I don't think they did. I think I'm losing track of who's where because everything is going on all at the same time. I think everybody's kind of settling into their rhythms a little bit. Oh, just as I say that, David Russell goes a bit, way too deep indeed, up into McLean's. You knew that one was coming, and you know as a driver when you've committed to a line and you know it's going to go badly, you do everything you can, but you know you're going to be visiting the gravel trap.
Yeah, he was building sandcastles there for sure, and it's really invited Pinchbeck, Faust, Pimlott, and Hedges. There's a huge gaggle of cars here. He's leading this train. Not exactly what I would have wanted. He was up to 6th place earlier on in this race. It would have been a fantastic result. It still can be a fantastic result for David Russell, but he's just given himself a bucket load of stress to deal with in this last minute of racing.
True enough. 2 laps to go. There's DeBosey, our race leader, heading down towards the old hairpin now, side by side, or warmer side by side between David Russell and Pinky Pinchback. There's Gabriel Faust looking to get involved in it as well. BMW getting a good run down through the Craney curves once again. Honda Civic is trying to usurp the Civic ahead of him, David Russell, but at the moment not a lot changing there. The BMW trying a slightly alternate line going through Starkey's Bridge up towards Swans Curve. No, it's so difficult for these guys to gain any particular advantage over their adversaries unless someone makes a mistake. Angus Martin up into 3rd position, fending off Kieran Vidago. Well, that's going to be a difficult one. Yes, Angus does have the lighter car, but Kieran is determined to try and make that one work. And Angus feeling the need to go defensive, but that BMW's gone way too deep, bouncing off the gravel there. Flash of the lights from Kieran Vidago, but that was your own mistake, sir. As here comes Steve Haley. These two cross swords quite a bit in race 1. Checkered flag is going to be out, and Kieran Vidago has lost that spot before they get to the braking zone of Redgate. Checkered flag is out. There's Deadeye Dixon right behind him. There is our race leader coming through the old hairpins. A half a lap to go as we've got one off. Is that Faust that's off? Yes, we've had trouble up at Redgate. 2 cars off. It's Cohen de Groot and Gregor Faust that have gone off. Oh dear, it's never good when you see a car reversing, and Gabriel Faust is having to do so, but Adam DeBosey, well, I think game, set and match for you, sir.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a fantastic race number 3, right? Because they're going to come into that with equal ballast then, you know. Well, actually, no, it won't be equal ballast, will it? But it's going to be more ballast for DeBosey, so it might be just a more level playing field for these two.
And also reverse grid, bear in mind, so that's going to be fun to see. But your winner for race number 2 here at Donington Park for the opening round of this season's Virtual Touring Car Cup is Adam DeBosey in the BMW. Second is Matt Donington in the Avensis. And third home, Angus Martin. Great run there in the AMR Audi RS3. Fourth, Stephen Adey. Fifth, Kieran Vidago. Sixth is Miles Dixon. Seventh is Regan Mitchell. 8 is going to be Dave Wrestle. 9, Chris Pinchbeck. 10, Dave Hedges. 11th, Rory Grassi. 12th, Mark Pimlott, I think, anyway, because then the systems are all changing around. 13th was Ivadi. 14th, Karen de Groot. 15th, Gabriel Faust. Oh, what could have been for him? There's Alex Saunders, who's had a pretty rough run this time around as well, in 16th place. Aaron Large, we saw spinning early on in the race, 17th place. And it's the customary sim racing car destruction going on at the end. Oh, yes. Love that. And we have plenty more madness to come. So, the way that the grid is formed for race number 3 is the top 10 are reversed. So, those that finish 10th will start on pole, except we do have a random element in this race in that the pole sitter is randomly chosen from that top 10. So, it's not necessarily a case of whoever finished 10th would start first, as a normal reverse grid would go. That is going to be decided probably off camera, and we will then get updated on what that decision is. But the rest will form a reverse grid. So it's a very, very mixed bag, and anything can happen because you'll have faster cars trying to make their way through people that either have a little bit less ballast or those not particularly accustomed to being right ways towards the front. And with the racing we've already seen, this is going to be either absolutely epic or completely pandemonium. Either way, really looking forward to it.
A little bit of both. You know, like
Yes.
the essence of pandemonium with a sprinkle of carnage. I think it's going to be good, though. I really do, because it gives those people that really didn't get that, you know, that their optimum in qualifying, or, you know, they didn't get to spread their wings because they've been battling side by side for the entirety of 2 races. It's going to give them that chance to get that clean air and do what they can in their cars, and I think that's what's really interesting about this. I love this race 3. It's our debut race 3. It's a series in itself. The reverse grids, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Absolutely, yes. This is a new feature introduced to the VTCC for this season. So very much looking forward to that. Now, I am a great fan of reverse grids. Now, I know not every driver likes it. I love them. I love how it mixes up the field, both as a driver and as a commentator. And now I can perfectly understand why some drivers aren't so much a fan of it. Where do you sit on that particular scale, Aaron?
I really enjoy it. I think it's good for the actual motorsport itself, really, because it just provides more action, and that's what keeps people attentive to motorsport, is that action. So yeah, I'm all for a reverse grid.
Amen to that. Right, we're going to go to a quick break now as the reverse grid is finalised and the server is set up ready for the final race of the evening to round out this amazing opening round to this season's Virtual Touring Car Cup. This one's going... If you didn't enjoy the first ones, 1, you're absolutely bonkers. But 2, if you didn't enjoy the first ones, you will almost certainly enjoy this one. Stay with us. We'll be right back as soon as we can for the final race of round 1 of the Virtual Touring Car Cup. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the upcoming third race for the opening round of this season's Virtual Touring Car Cup. We've had 2 races already tonight, and what an incredible spectacle we've had so far this evening. In the box with me, Aaron Martin Pilkington.
Oh, get that right.
I'll need some practice to stop myself tripping over that one. It's got a long name. But, thoughts so far, sir?
What a cracking series! Honestly, like this is 18 races of pure carnage, and I love it. Like I come from Wreckfest, so this is all golden for me. Like, no, in all seriousness, the racing has been pristine at most times, and it's touring cars. You know, that's the definition of door banging. So it's what you should expect in this type of racing. Absolutely right.
So, for those looking to get involved, there are links in the video description on where to find the Discord channel, where to find the Facebook group. All of the necessary information you will need to sign up and get involved will be found there. You may well have lunatics like us shouting about your on-track antics very, very soon. It's not just Assetto Corsa that we are involved in. That's the sim that we are running for this series. We also run a MX5 Cup in iRacing, as you can see. What are your thoughts towards this one, Aaron?
It's another racing series done by Simsport. There's nothing else much to say about this. If you don't have ACC and you're not an AC fan, but you're an iRacing fanatic, this is a place you should be coming in. MX5. MX5s are just like rear-wheel drive touring cars. They are so much fun. Short wheel bases, so super twitchy, but you could just thrash them around any track. So please do get involved in that as well if it takes your fancy.
True enough. Right, we actually have some people to talk to before we get race number 3 underway. So we have got... we're spoiled for choice this time. Let's have a chat to our race winner from race number 2, who was a little bit unfortunate in race 1, I think it's fair to say. Adam DeBose, are you with us?
Yeah, thank you.
Wow, what a battle race 1 didn't quite go your way, I think it's fair to say, but what a race you had second time round.
Yeah, at first time I misjudged my braking. Well, I was very close to Matt at the chicane, and I was in his ass, and then I just saw that he braked earlier, and I realized that I misjudged my braking, so I moved quickly to the right. I went alongside him, but I rode the curb, which jumped me to him, and I spun, and thus I finished 5th, but I stayed positive, and like this I knew that I will have a lighter car for race 2, and I managed to make use of that, and came home to win the race. Also, I had amazing battles with Matt, some nice overtakes.
We certainly saw you had some incredible battles. We thought you were going to have another spin the same way you did in race 1, but you managed to catch it that time.
Yeah, that was
with McLean's. Yeah, that must have been like, oh no!
Yeah, exactly like this. I managed to save it, fortunately.
You certainly did. Now, this time, reverse grid, so potentially you'll be starting from 10th position. So you'll be right in the midst of the pack with a bit of a heavier car. Are you still looking to get towards the front, or do you think it's going to be quite a big ask to get towards there? What are your thoughts?
Of course, it's going to be more difficult, but my goal is still to move to the front. I want to finish on the podium. That's my goal, and I hope I can achieve that.
Awesome stuff. Best of luck for race number 3 and for the season ahead. Thank you very much, Adam DeBose. Right, let's have a chat with the man we haven't had a chance to speak to, the very brightly highlighted colour car of Angus Martin.
Hi there.
Wow, crikey, did you have a good storm through the field? You must be pretty pleased with that one.
I mean, I'm chuffed. I mean, I've got to say, I love the success ballast. That's definitely happening.
Now, you are going to be a little bit heavier this time around, and potentially in the midst of the midfield. Does that worry you at all?
To be honest, yes, it does. I just in the last race, just with the 30 odd kilos, I felt it quite a lot, especially into the old hairpin. So I guess with even more ballast, that's going to be a tricky one. And I'm starting further back, as you said. So, yeah.
That's a good point. That those that are kind of unfamiliar with having to deal with success ballast, how much kind of extra thought do you have to put into how you drive these particular cars with that extra weight involved that you haven't had previous races up to this point?
Initially, I didn't think there was much thought to it because, in the test race at Silverstone that we did, I didn't really feel it. And then here, I went into the chicane alongside Stephen, I think it was, and very nearly came together with him.
You definitely felt it that time.
Yeah, I definitely felt it. So, yeah, it's definitely a matter of braking earlier, being a bit kinder on the tyres, because at the end of the race, I felt it there as well. That's tyre wear was definitely a problem.
Awesome stuff. We look forward to your progress through this race as well, and best of luck for the rest of the season. Thank you very much, Angus Martin.
Thank you.
Once again, we have the delight of the Dorrington joining us in the box. Hello to you, sir.
Hello. How are we doing?
You just can't help but do well, can you?
You got any breath left after that one?
Breath, yes. Throat, certainly not.
I mean, that was awesome, wasn't it? That was awesome fun.
Yeah, damn right it was. We thoroughly enjoyed that. Is it fair to say that at the point that Adam finally got past you, and you certainly made it difficult for him, but was it a case of, your car's a lot lighter than mine, you had to let him go?
I had a second and a half at the end of lap 2, and I thought to myself, Adam's going to be coming, and he came fast. At that point, I knew that I was going to have to kind of try and defend it and just try and be aware. But he just, put his car in the right places, made the move. We kind of went back and forth a little bit, but once he got the legs on me, that was it. He was just gone. Just couldn't stay with him. So the ballast made a big difference that time.
So starting further down the field, it didn't seem to make an awful lot of difference to you at Silverstone, although you didn't. Granted, you battled through to come in third that time around. Same again, or again? How are you favouring your chances?
Well, it's going to be interesting because obviously Adam and I are very similarly paced, and we're going to have fairly even cars this time around. So it's going to depend a little bit on how Adam and I get on. Because obviously, if we start battling and defending each other, then we're going to struggle to get up there. But it's going to be a little bit of see how we go. At Silverstone we've got some freebies as well, so let's see what happens.
Best of luck for the final race of the night and for the season ahead. Thank you very much, Matt Dorrington.
Thank you.
Now then, we have been joined in the commentary box by series director, Mr. Toby Owen. How are you, good sir? He's muted, is what he is. Toby! Toby! Come back to us, sir.
Good evening, I'm doing well.
There you are. Okay, right. So, just for the benefit of our viewers, so top 10 is going to be reversed except for who you are randomly choosing from that top 10 to be on pole. Is that correct, sir?
I'll just bring the screen up, actually, share it, and if we can get it up on stream, we'll talk through the process. So those familiar with the BTCC will know how this works, but I will explain it for our viewers of the SSRI stream.
We leave it to Smash It Proudly to handle the camera transition. Now, hopefully be coming through shortly.
Okay, so our draw is up. I don't know if that's coming through on the live stream, guys, but there were a couple of track limits penalties applied to the results post-race. The most significant being to Kieran Vidago, who actually picked up 10 seconds worth of penalties and has, as a result, dropped out of the top 10 in the results. So, sadly for Kieran, is not part of the reverse grid pole draw.
Ouch.
So just to confirm, so we've got the top 10, and what we will do is we will draw a number randomly between 6 and 10. That driver will be placed onto the reverse grid pole, and everyone up to that position will be sort of drawn onto reverse grid. So if it's number 8 that comes out, for example, currently Regan Mitchell, then Mitchell would be on pole, then 7th place would become 2nd, 6th place would become 3rd, and so on. 9th and 10th would miss out, if that were the case.
Okay.
So we've got, just to confirm, number 6, David Russell, number 7, Dave Hedges, number 8, Regan Mitchell, number 9, Mark Pimlott, and number 10, Roy Grassi. He's had a bit of a physical evening, so I'll be very much praying for that magic number 10. So I will make the draw without any further ado.
With bated breath, it's Mark Pimlott.
And it will be Mark Pimlott, car in 9th position, that is drawn onto the reverse grid pole position. So Pimlott will start on pole, Mitchell will be 2nd. Unfortunately, the evening doesn't get any better for Roy Grassi, does it? He just misses out on that draw. So Mark Pimlott will be your pole sitter for race 3.
I see. Now, but Roy won't have any success ballast, will he?
He'll be carrying the 5 kilos for 10th position, but the car starting
true.
immediately in front of him will be carrying the full 65
kilos.
Yeah. So he's got a real opportunity.
True enough. Yeah, it's not gone well for poor Roy, but we will see how that goes. Thank you very much, Toby Owen, for doing the reverse grid pole draw for us. And we look forward to getting that server set up and ready to go. So as a reminder for those unfamiliar with that process, that's a new process we've implemented into the Virtual Touring Car Cup for this season. So the pole position has been randomly chosen from 6th to 10th, and then it's reverse grid from that position backwards, or that position forwards, depending on how you look at it. So whoever, in this case was Roy Grassi, was finished behind that randomly chosen person in the previous race. Nothing really happens to them. They remain in the position they finished in. So poor Roy is still stuck in 10th position, but as mentioned, he will have the least amount of success ballast for those ahead of him. So he could well make good on that. But I mean, 5 kilos against 65 kilos is an obvious difference to have to deal with. But he's going to have quite a few quick guys behind him, I dare say.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I was doing some workings out as you were doing the interviews, and I thought I had it all settled down until that touring car Tom Boiler got thrown into the works there. So just trying to figure it out here. But it's what we should be looking at really is Donington. I think in fact is going to be very even between Donington and DeBose for success ballast, within about 10 kilos of each other, but the points difference is 6 points. So Donington roughly, with provisional results, there's no penalties applied, 37 points with Donington, DeBose on 31 points. But the person we really should be looking out for, who had a great last surge, who you talked to in that last interview, was Angus Martin, who's roughly going to have 50 kilos, which is half what the other guys have got, and he's on 25 points. So he could make a real good surge in this race 3 and bag a ton of points.
That's a great point, because you may well have a rough race 1 or even race 2, but you would still absolutely storm through in the final race of the night and put yourself right back in contention. Now, of course, this is the opening round of the season. It's a 6-race season, well, 18-race season if you 6 by 3, of course. But there's opportunities throughout the entire season to make a whole ton of points over your fellow competitors. So it really is worth all of our drivers pushing on until that final checkered flag falls.
Yeah, and it's really important to know as well that you, like we said before the race, that you don't get any points if you retire the car 5 minutes before the end of the race. So it's really important, even if you have eternal damage done to your car or just cosmetic, it's really important to finish the race as well, because you will not get points unless you do so.
Indeed. Right, so the drivers are joining the session now and are being allocated into their grid position. And we have got, how many have we got? 18 drivers joining us. It looks like Cameron Fife has opted not to return, which is a bit of a shame because he's had a very rough night so far. He was showing well in the practice races leading up to this stage, so it's a bit of a shame that Donington has not gone well for him, but it does tend to, like I said earlier, it's a bit of a divisive track in that sense. You either really, really like it or you're on the other end of the scale. I like the track, but it doesn't do well for me as a sim racer. I don't tend to do well, despite my enjoyment of the circuit.
No, I think Donington does discriminate. To be fair, says the guy that won there twice in a row. Be a gentleman.
Oh, that's a lovely CV post there.
That's got on any CV. They're completely unrelated ones as well.
Yep. Right. So, on the front row then, as mentioned, is Mark Pimlott, the randomly chosen poleman. Alongside him is Regan Mitchell in the black and white Civic. Row 2 is Dave Hedges and David Wrestle. Now, we've seen David Wrestle really do well compared to normal expected positions for him. So he's in a real great opportunity now to press forward and see what he can do from there. On row 3 is Deadeye Dixon with those bright red headlights of his with Stephen Haley. Now, Stephen Haley does not have his usual stablemate of Kieran Vidago with him yet. Never mind, yes, Kieran Vidago, because he's not in the top 10, will have no success ballast added to his car. So expect him to come charging through the field. Angus Martin, who we had a chat to earlier, on row 4, along with Matt Dorrington. And then race 2 winner of Adam DeBose, and joins Roy Grassi on row 5. Less than a minute to go before we get underway. Then row 6 is Kieran Vidago along with Eastman Nivadi. Row 7 is Pinky Pinchbeck along with Gabor Faust. Row 8 is Cohen de Groot, and Alex Saunders. Row 9 is Aaron Large and Tom Franking at the back end. Cameron Fife has returned to us. That's good to see. He'll be starting at the back end of the field. We have got our 19 drivers returning to us. Ooh, yes, looking forward to this. Now, that's a broken record statement, and I don't apologise to it, because as this season has already proven, it has got some fantastic moments awaiting to happen.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what Dave Hedges can do, and also Kieran Vidago, both in BMWs, both getting blinded starts, and they're about to get underway.
Here we go, race 3, time to wind them up and let them go. Who is going to be bravest on the brakes and who is going to have that storming start? Yep, again, it's the BMWs. Hedges getting into second. Can he wrestle that top spot from Mark Pimlott? He's going to go for an outside manoeuvre. Still side by side, but he spun it. Oh my goodness, he's going to nearly get punched in the face as we see. Oh my goodness, there's cars on absolutely everywhere. Carnage with, well, that was called at the beginning. Oh no, it's Dave Wrestle. He was right up there in 4th, and he's been punted by the wayside and down to last. What a great shame. We were bigging him up, and he's failed. Oh no, there's someone off of the old hairpin. Who was that? That's Vidago. No, it's Vidago
as well. DeBose's gone off as well.
Oh my goodness. Absolute chaos. Yeah, it was indeed. DeBose that's had trouble, along with Kieran Vidago. Oh no, there goes Angus Martin. Slams into the wall. Oh my goodness me, this race is going... Well, we didn't really see too many issues in the first 2 races. Now they're all coming out in the 3rd one. My goodness me, calm down, guys. But it's still got 20 minutes to do.
Yeah, this is an opportunity right now for Matt Dorrington. If he doesn't seize this, he can really secure a good lead here with a good result. He's already into 4th place here, courtesy of everyone scattering off the track and looking for sandcastles and having picnics. So he's looking great here on the back of Stephen Haley. Stephen Haley's not going to give him an inch there. Fantastic move on the inside of Mitchell, though. That is fantastic from Mitchell, and Pimlott all the way down. I think Pimlott's gone off the track.
Oh, and the big slide there from Roy Grassi. Yeah, Mark Pimlott. As you can see, the red highlighted there. Oh, wow. Who was that that bounced? It was Alex Saunders bouncing off of Roy Grassi. Side by sides everywhere. I can't keep up. It's a good problem for a commentator to have, in fairness. There's Roy Grassi. We just briefly saw Matt Dorrington now up in 3rd position, challenging Stephen Haley for that spot. So it's Civics 1-2 at the moment, with the AJR Motorsport Toyota Aventus in 3rd. Whoa, that is Alex Saunders going very wide into McLean's. Now onto the back straight. What can Matt Dorrington do here? That car is going to feel so sluggish with all the success ballast. And right away over to the defensive line goes Stephen Haley. I'm not sure he needed to commit to it that early, but he's trying for it nonetheless. There is Miles Dixon, the red-eyed car of his, in the red-eyed Audi. Oh, Dorrington's got a good run coming out of the Robert chicane. Now, can he push on and try and secure that 2nd position outside of Redgate? Not quite. I think he realises his car's probably a bit too heavy. He's going to try and switch back underneath the Civic. Oh, side by side almost. Coming into Hollywood, down to the grain of curves. Success ballast or not, I'm going to try and get through. What's the inside line for the old hairpin? Keeps it under control. Doesn't understeer into Stephen Haley. They bounce off of each other. Still going, still side by side. We've seen this all night long, just side by side for corner after corner after corner after corner. And still Stephen Haley won't let it go. Matt Dorrington's still going to have the inside lines to come up over the crest. 4 copies as Miles Dixon's like, let me through, let me through. Can't get through. Matt Dorrington up into second position. Where is Miles Dixon going? Going for a bit of lawn mowing whilst he's out there. Now he's pressing an advantage against Stephen Haley. Can't quite get alongside. Down towards the Robert chicane, side by side. There's Dixon on Saunders. Dixon holds on to 4th position. Then Stephen Haley trying to get that second position back from Dorrington. Regan Mitchell's just like, yeah, I'm off. See you later, guys. You continue your fight. I'm going to enjoy the view from up front.
What a race, Chris. This is absolutely mental. Just to recap, Dave Hedges, DeBosi, Martin Vidago, Pimlott and Russell, all within that reverse grid conundrum, right? And they're 13th position and downwards. They are trailing at the back of this pack, and that is 6 people that are super quick. So you've got to ask the question, are they going to get back on track? And they're going to be challenging for these positions. There's a long way to go, but they're right at the back of this grid.
Yeah. You wouldn't have put money on that, would you, coming into the race? As we see Kieran Vidago lining up a move on Angus Martin, the alphaholic of Vidago in the BMW. That's maybe the question why he didn't go for the Giulietta, but maybe he just prefers the handling of the BMW in AC. Or as that's Angus Martin just kicking up a bit of dust on the exit of McLean's. There is Miles Dixon keeping the advantage of Alex Saunders. And Regan Mitchell now 4 seconds down the road. There he is at the bottom of the shot as that lead continues to extend as everyone is just fighting to keep their various stablemates behind them. Oh, we've got someone off. There's Hedges. Dave Hedges has gone off for the Robert chicane. Oh my goodness me, that's why you saw his name fall through the field. Oh no, Cameron Fife. When is he going to get a break? Well, the only thing breaking seems to be his car at the moment. So there's Miles Dixon still keeping the advantage of Alex Saunders, falling off the back a little bit of the Dorrington-Haley battle. Whoa, as we see Alex Saunders using every available inch of AstroTurf there. Dangerous if you fall under the grass, but doesn't seem to bother him any. And then catching over there is Roy Grassi.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, he just missed out on that tombola, you know. It was 9th place reverse, but he was 10th. But he's actually worked out. He's worked in his benefit. He's now 6th position. That's his best position all night. It's the best position for Faust and Pinchbeck. They're coming up the field, and this is because they've got less ballast as well, so they're flying through that grid.
Oh, Roy Grassi's just lost 2 positions.
Oh, dear.
That's probably a commentator curse. One for you, Aaron. But that's probably because he's just made one simple mistake, but because the field is so heavily condensed that he's lost the positions because they happen to be nearby more than he's flown off the road or anything that daft. We don't know. We didn't see it, unfortunately, but as we've seen from the stationary cameras just how close these clumps of cars are. Now jumping to the battle for 2nd position. There at the top of the shot, Regan Mitchell continues to dance off into the distance. Although in fairness, the gap barely changed last time around, but then he doesn't particularly need to. Whether you win by a minute or a second, a win is a win. So Regan Mitchell not doing anything too untoward up front. Matt Dorrington, though, doing everything he can to keep the Civic of Stephen Haley behind. So Civic, Aventus, Civic and Audi. And the lead alpha is Alex Saunders in 5th position. That has been hounding Miles Dixon all race long. And there is a big one. So there's Dorrington. Oh yeah, it is Miles. So he has actually shaken off the advantage of Alex Saunders. Now, is Miles Dixon going to be able to get involved in the battle already ahead of him? You would think so, because Miles has been pretty quick in this race so far. He's not had the best run of luck so far this evening, although he's been involved in a lot of fights, but not necessarily towards the sharper end of it, as Vidago has just gone past Aaron Large for 12th position, you can see on the tower. Dorrington doesn't feel, well, it doesn't look like he's under a lot of pressure. He might be a bit of a, the swan analogy. He might be absolutely frantic in the car, but he's not defending fresh air. He's not having to alter his line an awful lot. Oh, was that Miles Dixon flying off the road? Yes, it was. Oh, was he disconnected? Where's Miles Dixon gone? Oh no, we've lost Miles Dixon. That's why his name's Gray. We have no communication with Miles Dixon. Oh no, don't tell me he's disconnected.
Was that Red Eye?
Oh, it was yeah. Deadeye Dixon is yeah. Oh, well, there you go. The rule book's been thrown at him. Oh, that's a
The
shame.
bad habit came in late.
Yeah, it was just a bit slow on that one. Oh, what a shame for Miles Dixon. He was having such a good run. Side by side for second for Dorrington and Haley, but Matt Dorrington with the inside line. He's going to have a bit of a compromise run through the Robert chicane. Can Stephen Haley do anything about it? Well, he certainly can. He's thinking about it. Oh, is he going to go inside of inside? My goodness me. Make up your mind on which way you're going to go. He opts not to do any lawn mowing on the inside line towards Redgate. My goodness me. Matt Dorrington doing a absolute defensive masterclass again. And then right behind you've got Saunders, Faust, Pinchback in that group behind them. I think Roy Grassie's in there somewhere. But this is a fantastic scrap. 4-second position. There you go. So you've got the picture-in-picture, which is the battle for second. Then the next 4-car train is Saunders down to Grassie. So that's 3rd, 4th, 5th, bigger one. That's 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. In that particular battle, the BMW trying to get the inside line, or sort of defend the inside line, bigger pardon, from Pinchback. Now trying to get the inside line on the Alpha ahead of him. Doesn't quite come up. They're all just, 1 minute someone goes removed, then the next one in the train has a go. It's like a conga line going on.
And we love conga. This is fantastic. I mean, Stephen Haley, he's no stranger to the outside line, is he? And I feel like that's going to be the biggest threat to Matt Dorrington's race here. But for Matt Dorrington, his battle's not with Steve Haley, not in this round 1 here at Donington. The guy he's trying to beat is DeBose in 10th place and Angus Martin in 12th. So he's got a lot of leeway. So if he finds himself in that 3rd position, it's no stress. It really isn't. Not for him. It's not going to make that much difference to his championship bid.
Yeah, but racing drivers always want the best decision making. Yes, we get another side-by-side down through Hollywood. Down through the Grenadier goes once again. So this is Saunders and Faust having an argument. And oh, the BMW has had impact in this round. Oh no, bounced off of Roy Grassie, I think that was. Oh no, bigger brother was Pinchback he bounced off of. And the BMW, probably because the rear-wheel drive really not helping it there, and round he goes, and that's still become a 4-car conga line. It's now Vivardi has joined the back of it. That's given Alex Saunders a bit of breathing space. There he is in the Alpha at the lead of this particular train. Then it's Roy Grassie, who's back up into 5th position now, having started 10th. Then Pinky Pinchback. There's pink accessory wheels and wing mirrors. Still belching out flames though. That's such a great look on the Civic, isn't it? I know they all do it, but it was just nice to see on the Civic there. Oh, Pinchback is really pressing Grassie. To do there. The battle for second, as you can see in the picture still rages on side by side into Redgate again. Pinchback, what's he going to be able to do? Oh, well defended from Roy Grassie there, and still the battle rages on.
Absolutely, and I feel like turn 1 is the place for Stephen Haley to really have a go. Also Pinchback, any of the Hondas are really, really strong in that first corner. Regardless of whether it's the inside or the outside, I feel like that's the place to overtake in the Honda.
Everyone's having to go up there at turn 1, aren't they? There we see Pinchback still staring at the back of the Saunders-Grassie battle ahead of him, whilst keeping divided behind. Just a reminder on who our race leader actually is. It's that one. The DMA Simsport Racing number 69 of Regan Mitchell. He's not the quickest man out there, but because he's got that gap, he's just doing what he needs to do to maintain it. He's not pushing too hard, he's not doing anything silly. He's just maintaining the gap between himself and Matt Dorrington at the moment. This 4-way scrap is trying to go in any particular direction it can. Cohen de Groot is catching up to it. There he is. And so is that DeBose that's on the back of that as well? Yes, it is. Adam DeBose is catching up to that particular pack. So you've got to think, if Adam DeBose has a good run through that pack, he could really start to climb much closer towards the podium positions. But with less than 8 minutes to go, it's not going to be an easy feat, even for someone like Adams, on Adams' wavelength.
So many points up in the air. He's really going to have to fight through that pack. No one's just going to pull over and let him through. Not at this stage of race with just under 8 minutes of racing left. And I feel like that 4-way pack as well, they deserve to be there. They've been so close, close proximity racing, and been very, very, very careful and very safer for most of it. I would say that. I stress it for most of it, but it's been fantastic racing throughout this field, especially in the middle pack here.
Absolutely. As we now look at Mark Pimlott, our inherited pole sitter. Dave Hedges behind. Oh no, Dave has gone. The other Alpha flavoured BMW has had a spin, gone a little bit too deep. That's McLean's, bounces off the wall, and that's going to be a wounded BMW. Has he just parked it? Has he retired it? What's he done? He's not gone anywhere. Oh no, he's back. He is going again. Beg your pardon. As fast as that, he's actually gone to Gabor Faust. You can see in the bottom right there, in 1:08.7. It's good to see somebody else getting their name on the fastest lap boys, not just the leaders. As Roy Grassi has managed to get ahead, or briefly, at least of Alex Saunders. As that battle continues to work its way through, as it looks like the Alfa Romeo is going to ram the back of, well, it does indeed hit the back of the Toyota. Here comes Pinky Pinchbeck trying to get involved. A great move. Can he get it to stick though? 3 wide? Are you mad? 3 wide of McLean's. Wow. Okay, now that I never would have put money on, but Pinky Pinchbeck looks set to try and use. Oh no! You never want to see a battle end up like that. Roy Grassi. Good. That is not the definition of push to pass, sir. Oh, look at the bottom of the shot as well. That's Ivardi trying to get past Saunders. Does get it past Saunders. Oh no! Just as I say that, he's gone off. Oh my, that's Pinchbeck going. I can't keep up. Will you guys behave yourselves? So Ivardi is off the road. Pinchbeck is now falling down through the field a little bit. And that's allowed Saunders back up into 4th.
I think DeBosey had to check up there because Pinchbeck just came back on the track. DeBosey hit the brakes hard at the BMW. He's right at the back of this train. He's got so much work ahead of him and only 5.5 minutes remaining. This train is alive.
That's, what's that, 10th to 4th in this one train. That is absolutely bonkers. And you know, the one really in the pound seat is that man there, car number 9. Adam DeBosey, yes, his car he's going to be fairly heavy, but he's got the opportunity, he's got the pace to really get, hustle those ahead of him. But he's already had arguments with Kieran Vidago earlier on in this race. So Kieran, then the BMW already ahead. Oh, was that good? Yeah, that was Kieran de Groot going wide. It's such an awkward place to go wide up there at Coppice because you lose so much momentum. Oh, look at this, all arguing for position. Oh, the BMW, the red BMW of Kieran Vidago getting very, very squeaky into the brakes. Oh, wow, Kieran Vidago Adam DeBosey had to really suddenly adjust his line there to not slam into the back of Kieran Vidago. 3 wide yet again, coming down into Redgate. I can't get the words out quick enough for the amount of action we've got going on.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Faust here, and I'm assuming that Faust is DeBosey's teammate here, they're running the identical paint jobs, get out of the way. Just get out of the way, because DeBosey's coming through. You don't want to be in any incident, especially when it involves your teammate.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll either go round you or through you, is what DeBosey's saying. So, well, Faust is obviously going to be a lot lighter. We did see him get the fastest lap earlier on. So he's got decent pace, is Gabriel Faust. Hopefully he's able to continue it. There is Kieran Vidago on the back of Pinky Pinchbeck. You make your car obvious coming up to Coppice, but it's such a difficult place to make a move. Oh, on the back straight. Oh, what's going to happen here? Immediately to the defensive line as he bounces off of a supposedly flat road. That's a good effort there, Mr. Vidago. He's gone too deep into the Robert chicane as Pinchbeck bounces off the apex. Here comes Faust. He's gone through. Is DeBosey going to try and nail the pair of them? He's got one. Can he get the other one as we come down into Redgate? There's a lagging Honda ahead. Not quite. That's Vidago down 2.
Wait.
Oh, no, that's DeBosey and Vidago that have come together. Oh no. All that progress they've made is just gone.
Heartbreak, absolute heartbreak there for Kieran Vidago. But just to bring you back to the lead of this race, Mitchell having an absolute stroll in the park here at Donington. A lot less ballast, you would say, arguably, than Dorrington in second place here. But that gap of 3.5 seconds really hasn't changed. It's been ebbing and flowing. They've been 0.3 faster, 0.3 slower, but it's been relatively the same. And this looks very, very comfortable here for Regan Mitchell out in front.
And Kieran Vidago is out. The car is retired and he has left the session. That's a big shame. Oh dear, oh dear. Might be words said about that one, but we will see as Regan Mitchell continues his comparatively leisurely jaunt around the twists and turns of Donington. Matt Dorrington incredibly in second. Stephen Haley now 2 seconds behind him. But this is Gable Faust on the back of Pinky Pinchbeck. Still that battle for sixth. Now that particular pack now completely dispersed, as we saw. Less than 2 minutes to go. This race has absolutely flown by. Well, it has for us. I'm not sure what the drivers think about it, but for us, it's absolutely flown by.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got a feel here for Pimlott. I mean, he was pole. he was pole leading this race, and there was no like contact with him. He simply went off by himself, and I feel like it's a huge missed opportunity. It's the same regards with Kieran Vidago. Such a positive start to this series with a great result in race 1. 10-second penalty in race 2, but he had a good race apart from that, and it's just really unfolded in race number 3. So hopefully this is going to be his drop round potentially, because each driver gets three races dropped for the lowest scores, and this potentially is going to be it, isn't it, if it's a DNF.
Indeed. So that's not 3 rounds of the entire season. That's 3 of the 18 races that are throughout the season, as Pinchbeck and Faust continue to argue for 6th, as we look at Mark Pimlott, our randomly chosen pole man, whether we liked it or not. There he is in the 14th. There's DeBose has gone through. He didn't challenge that, did he? He was like, no, you carry on. That's all yours, sir. Fair play. You know who you're realistically in a fight with, as we've got just over 30 seconds to go before the checker flag falls on. Oh, Regan Mitchell. Well, that's woken you up, sir. He's flown off the road that's at Coppice. So that's suddenly brought Matt Dorrington really back into play. That gap now just under 2 seconds.
He doesn't have an opportunity to make that same mistake again. He really doesn't. That was a lifeline that he had developed and created amongst along the race, because he's been keeping that gap of 3.5 seconds. He doesn't have it anymore, and Matt Dorrington will seize any opportunity he can get, especially as we're on the last lap.
Yep, absolutely true. Through the grainy curves down towards the old hairpin again. There's Dorrington. I think the advantage he could have pressed. Well, he pressed it as much as he could, but now that Regan Mitchell's back up to pace again, it's going to be difficult for Dorrington to do anything about it. But in saying that, Regan Mitchell has got a problem, or sometimes it throws you off your routine a bit, out of your rhythm. I think Regan Mitchell is going to have this one in hand. Carefully tiptoes through Coppice once again. Even though that gap, as you can quite clearly see, well less than a second, now 0.8 of a second, but it's not going to be enough for Matt Dorrington to claim the top spot. Your winner for race number 3 here at Donington Park is going to be the Honda Civic of Regan Mitchell, closely followed by the Toyota Aventus of Matt Dorrington, and Steve Haley on the podium again in the second of the Civics. There is Roy Grassi. My goodness me, what a mixed night he's had. Comes in 4th place. Alex Saunders 5. Pinky Pinchbeck in 6th. Just about beats off Gabe Faust for 6th place. Gabe Faust 7. Cohen de Groot in 8th. Ivardi 9. And 5, considering the rough night he's had. That's the first time he's finished, and he actually got a 10th position. Nicely done. Aaron Lars 11. Angus Martin. Well, he's jacked his car into the wall now. That's what he thinks of this race, I would imagine. What an incredible finish we have had to an incredible night's racing.
It was fantastic there, but I've got to bring your attention to this. Matt Dorrington scored 17 points in that race, and unfortunately for Adam DeBose, who was amongst all the carnage, not just once but a couple of times, only scored 3. That is a huge point difference, and that, like we said before, could be one of his drop rounds.
Yeah, I dare say it's probably going to be looking at the pace that he's shown, and obviously taking that race 2 win. DeBose has got it well within his capability to score some amazing points throughout the season. Wow. So we'll give our drivers a moment to catch their breath. If they want to go and have a chat to us, they are obviously more than welcome to. And that's what we're going to have throughout the season. Very much looking forward to it. Was before, certainly am now.
fantastic. I've actually really never paid attention to racing around like the national circuit of Donington. It's always been the full circuit for me. But what a calendar that we've got: Norsring, Silverstone, Okayama. That's gonna be fantastic. I can't wait for that. And Brands Hatch, whether that's gonna be the normal circuit or the Indy, I'm kind of hoping it's the Indy circuit though, because that will be utter carnage.
If it's the Indy circuit, you could line them up all in a row and walk along the cars and not touch the floor, I would imagine. We do have a couple of people happy to come and chat to us. Let's drag them up with us. Ready or not, you are with us, gentlemen. Let's first chat to Regan Mitchell. Welcome to you, sir.
Hello.
Well, initial fight, great fight up to the front. Then comfortable lead, which you maintained for a while, and then you decided to start teasing Matt Dorrington.
No, leading a race is not as difficult as battling with people, but it's way more stressful, and it causes a mistake sometimes.
I mean, great effort, Regan. That was a very well-deserved win. Although we got a little bit close towards the end, you had that completely under control. What was running through your mind as the lights were counting down for that third race?
Well, I was pretty calm up until I made the mistake at the end, because I was watching the Delta and I was like, well, he's not catching too fast, and then got a bit worried at the end. Although all race I'm pretty paranoid about track cuts. I'm watching the chat right now to make sure I don't have any, because I got a penalty in race 2, so that's where my worries are.
I see. Well, that will be obviously decided before the next round comes along. So next time out is Tor Poznan. Is that a circuit you're familiar with?
No, I've never drove it before.
Excellent. I suspect he's going to be one of these circuits that is less known to some, so that could be something you could use to your advantage. We wish you the best of luck for the season to come. Thank you very much. Regan Mitchell.
Thank you.
We once again chat to Stephen Haley. You with us?
Hello again.
Hello again. You had some fun there, didn't you? You had some different people to fight with this time.
Yeah. I would have liked to have been able to hang on to Matthew, but he just had too much of the legs. At one point, I thought, I could be on for a good second position here, but he just started to eke the tenths out here and there, and there was just nothing I could do really.
So, how much ballast were you carrying?
35 kilos. I think I was 35 kilos.
And how much is that something you really had to think about, or did you easily adapt to having an extra 35 kilos?
It certainly made the car push more. It seemed to be under braking and under turning was a little bit worse, a little bit more understeering, but maybe something I could dial out with the setup change maybe in future. But yeah, we'll have to see. But it was. The pace weren't terrible. It was within a tenth of each other. The top three, as I was watching the deltas and whatnot. So, but yeah, it was a good race. It's a shame I wasn't able to take it to Matthew a bit more.
So, Tor Poznan, the Polish track next. Is that a track you're familiar with?
Absolutely, yep. Yep, we did it. I've done it in a few previous series seasons. It's a track that I do quite like. It's got a flow to it though, and if you don't have it, then your times won't be any good. But yeah, I love the circuit.
A lights to flag victory for you then, Mr. Haley.
Yeah, I wish. No. I think the strength of field is quite high. Obviously, we've got Adam and Matt. The BMWs may go well there as well, so I wouldn't count Kieran out. There's some other names, that could be quite up there. So it'll just depends and see who gets it on the day. But really looking forward to it. It should be really good fun. But tonight was awesome.
Certainly was, and we very much look forward to the season ahead. So best of luck for that. Thank you very much, Stephen Haley.
Cheers, Chris. Thank you, boys.
And that is going to wrap it up for tonight. Thank you very much to those that have been with us throughout the stream and catching up with us post-event. A great pleasure to have you along for the ride. Thank you very much, Aaron Martin Pilkington, for keeping me on the straight and narrow and getting your words and edgeways. It's a difficult train for you to stop, but you did very well with it, sir. He's lost for words, look. So, and also thank you very much to Steve Smash It Proudly for controlling the broadcast, and an awesome and thank you very much to Simsport Racing for hosting the event, and of course for the season to come. Great to have the season along the SSR family now. So as mentioned, 2 weeks time we will be heading to Tor Poznan, which is one, difficult to say, but two is a track that's not as familiar to some as others, but that could well shake up the field somewhat. Next week, as we mentioned earlier, is round 2 of the GT3 season, which is hosted on ACC, and that'll be over in Paul Ricard. So there we go. So that's a 90-minute race that's going on there in the GT3 season. We would very much invite you to join us for that, but also for the next round of this season, and also on the iRacing side of things on Wednesday is going to be when the iRacing MX5 Cup Season 2 kicks off at Tsukuba, if I pronounced that correct. So plenty of racing over here at SSR. We would invite you to join us for everything that we throw at you. Until then, it's been a great pleasure to have you with us, and we look forward to seeing you again. Till next time, thank you very much, and good night!